Chapter 1329. The two sisters still chose to continue waiting, even if they had to wait until dawn. I want to let Yihua see how long we have waited for you. Do you still have the cheek to throw a tantrum? However, Yihua was currently standing at the window of the room and looking at the palace. He thought to himself, those women should be asleep already. Why would they care if I return or not? Yihua let out a light sigh, then closed the wooden window and lied on the bed. The unfamiliar environment gave Yihua a different feeling. Sir, do you need the inn's service? A gentle voice suddenly rang out from the door, causing Yihua to be startled. There is such a service. Just who invented it? The night gradually dispersed, and white fog shrouded the entire Wushu Empire, making it look like a fairyland. A scream rang out in the palace, and it was the scream of a girl. From the tone of the voice, one could tell that the girl's scream was filled with surprise, panic, and disbelief. Under normal circumstances, to scream like this early in the morning, it must be the first time one experienced something interesting in their life. After all, there was a different kind of charm in this tender voice. Or at least that was what Lai Gu judged. In Godye's bedroom, Lu Xian looked at Godye in disbelief. And me? What happened last night? Where am I? What am I doing? Why did Godye sleep together with me? Godye seemed to have been shocked by this horrifying voice as well. He realized that his head was a little painful and his mouth was a little dry. What's wrong? Why are you screaming so early in the morning? Godye asked softly, appearing very calm. However, it was only his expression that was calm. His heart was not calm at all. He sneaked a glance at the quilt. It's over. Straighten your tongue and speak. Godye said softly. He slowly sat up and gently stroked Lu Xian's hair. The gentle action made Lu Xian a little absent-minded. Lie in my arms first and speak. Godye hugged the confused Lu Xian in his arms, and Lu Xian's face was red. What was I going to say just now? How did I forget about it? Godye gently caressed Lu Xian. Xian, it's still early, do you want to sleep for a while more? Lu Xian said subconsciously. After saying that, she felt that something was wrong. However, the sound of smooth breathing could already be heard from the side. And he managed to get away just like that. I'm so angry. To actually not say anything at all. In any case, I should at least say a few words. I will love you for my entire life, and I will treat you well in the future. Sigh. My God, this is really a headache. Godye was having a headache right now. Yesterday was just a joke. He really did not expect things to turn out this way. They had just confirmed their relationship yesterday, and today, their relationship had taken another step forward. This speed was too fast. Luckily, I was rather quick-witted just now. To be more precise, I was quick-witted in a moment of desperation. I pressed Lu Xian beside me to sleep, then pretended to sleep. But what should he say when he woke up? Thinking about his father and mother's daily life, Godye decided to learn from his father. After all, he had no experience and his father had never taught him such things. Just thinking about it gave him a headache. Of course, there was another person who was happy today. And that person was Tang Wei. After being together for so many years, Uncle Wei finally became enlightened. As expected, if a man doesn't get drunk, a woman basically doesn't have a chance. Looking at Uncle Wei's dumbfounded expression, it was simply too funny. It was as if he had been forced by himself. Uncle Wei, just give me a smile, it's not a big deal. Even when Tang Wei was speaking, she would always carry a smile on her face. For so many years, I have been looking forward to the stars, looking forward to the moon, and finally, such a day has arrived. Wei Chang basically did not know what happened yesterday. This is all thanks to his honor's wine. Furthermore, his honor looked like he was going to retire yesterday, so that's how it was. In the end, I didn't expect that Xiao Tang would be able to pick up such a great bargain. Is it a loss or not? It's a huge loss. Uncle Wei sob, Wei Chang. Xiao Tang, let me calm down for a while, my brain is a bit muddled. Wei Chang rubbed his head. This is truly painful. What's there to be muddled about? Who knows? I might be able to get pregnant. Tang Wei said happily. However, Wei Chang's heart sunk. My breed is different. No, my race is different. I have seen newborns before. And those newborns are not humans. If Tang Wei is to get pregnant, what she gives birth to will definitely be a monster that is too horrible to look at. This was also the reason why Wei Chong had always been unwilling. He didn't want Tang Wei to give birth to a monster, and he also didn't want Tang Wei to see his original body. To be honest, within the entire team, Wei Chang's original body could be counted as the most disgusting. However, Wei Chong was thinking, the entire team is unable to get pregnant, even his honor is the same. Perhaps, Tang Wei is also unable to get pregnant. God bless me, please don't get pregnant. It feels like my stomach is moving. Wei Chong. At this moment, Qingye and the others had not slept yet. They were still sitting in the hall and waiting. The sky outside had already turned white. The four women's eyes were a bit bloodshot, and they looked a bit horrifying. This kind of feeling was not very good, because Yi Hua really didn't return home at night. If a man doesn't return home at night, where would he go? The four women began to crazily fill in the blanks in their minds, imagining all possible things, and even that kind of scene could be imagined. Therefore, the more they thought about it, the angrier they got. Those with discerning eyes could see that resentment was currently gathering within the imperial palace. And this resentment was very resentful. He definitely has a woman outside. Qingye tightly clenched her fists. There's no need to even think about it. With Yi Hua's character, he is definitely like this. Towards Qingye's words, Dong Huangbaiji and the others agreed with it. Catch him. Dong Huangbaiji said coldly. The four women looked at each other. Only by catching him at the scene will that fellow admit to the truth. Solid proof that Yi Hua cheated on me. Luckily, I held back a trick in the past. Dong Huangbaiji sneered. To prevent Yi Hua from fooling around outside, Dong Huangbaiji used a special method to locate Yi Hua's location. Having such a few beautiful wives, Yi Hua didn't know if he should be happy or sad. His looks are really indescribable, but his paranoia is also indescribable, to the point where he can't wait for you to walk under their eyes all day long. When Dong Huangbaiji located Yi Hua's location, her expression immediately sunk. What's wrong, Baiji? Qian Yuqing asked worriedly. This bastard. He is actually inside a hotel. Ah. Everyone cried out in surprise. Instead of sleeping in the imperial palace, he actually went outside to sleep in a hotel. One could well imagine what he is doing. Chapter 1330. The faces of the four women were as ugly as it could be, even though they had been in the palace the whole time. However, they also heard that the hotel's reputation wasn't that great, just like those dead hotels in the past. Yi Hua didn't bother with such things, he only restricted them verbally. In actuality, he was just turning a blind eye to it. Thinking back to Yi Hua's decision back then, it seemed that today's decision was completely prepared for me. Such a long time ago, Yi Hua made such a long preparation. This is simply infuriating. This scoundrel, he actually went to a hotel. Where is my 40 meters long broadsword? Quickly give it to me. The Empress is really simple and crude right now. She even used a 40 meters long broadsword. This is a broadsword that the Empress specially prepared for Yi Hua. It's called beheading your head. As the name implies, beheading your head. This is simply too cruel. Baiji, calm down, it might not be what you think. Qian Yuqing said in a low voice. In actuality, Yi Hua wouldn't do such a thing. After all, Yi Hua's taste and eyesight are very high. Even Qing Yutong thought so too. How could brother-in-law do such a thing? Look at the palace. There is still a Daji waiting to be pampered. Qingye and Dong Huangbaiji were so excited that they completely forgot about Yi Hua's taste. Not just any kind of woman would be able to enter his eyes. This should be a situation where they don't trust each other. This is very bad. From what I see, this man just wants to go out and look for excitement. He can no longer be excited at home. Dong Huangbaiji's words are somewhat reasonable. These days are too peaceful. There isn't any excitement at all. So this is how it is. Qingye, let's go and kill him together. Dong Huangbaiji is simply going crazy. I waited at home for an entire night, and he still didn't come back, and in the end he went to a hotel. Qingye and Dong Huangbaiji look the same. Seems like the two women's attitude is indeed different. They are simply jealous to the extreme. Qing Yutong hurriedly persuaded. Big sister, calm down. Running to a hotel to look for brother-in-law like this is too rash. After all, he needs to know your identity. Your brother-in-law already went to a hotel to spend the night. Who cares about his identity? We are just letting others see that their emperor didn't sleep in the palace and went to a hotel to look for women. Qin Yutong and Qian Yuqing were immediately speechless. This isn't solving the problem. This is adding oil to the fire. If he ran over to cause trouble like this, it would definitely break the rhythm. Qinye and Donghuang Baiji immediately took out their weapons. From the looks of it, they didn't seem to be joking at all. Encountering this kind of problem, Qin Yutong and Qian Yuqing were also a bit unable to stop them. He had to find a helper. He couldn't let this go on. However, Qinye and Donghuang Baiji seemed to know what Qin Yutong was going to do. Qin Yutong, if you go and inform people today, I won't have you as my little sister anymore. Qin Yutong went into a daze for a moment. This was still the first time that Qin Yutong saw her big sister getting so angry. It's not like brother-in-law is going to do something bad. Why does he look like he wants to kill someone? Menopause was also one of the reasons why she was so angry. Perhaps this was what it was like to become a woman. In any case, Yihua was getting irritated just by looking at Yihua. Every day, Yihua would be long-winded and would never stop nagging. Only when he wasn't around could he have some peace and quiet. In actuality, Yihua was outside every day, and Qinye and the others didn't want to disturb Yihua. Furthermore, when Yihua came back at night, he didn't say anything and just fell asleep right away. In the beginning, I thought that Yihua was tired, but as time passed, I felt that Yihua had changed. Qin Yutong and Qian Yuqing took a look at each other, not knowing what they should do now. However, at this time, Qinye and Donghuang Baiji had already disappeared. Qin Yutong and Qian Yuqing have to quickly go and stop Yihua. This kind of thing still spread out. Using Yihua's words, his face has been ruthlessly rubbed on the ground. Qinye and Donghuang Baiji immediately arrived at Yihua's door. However, at this time, Yihua's door was opened. A beautiful woman could be seen walking out of Yihua's room while carrying a wooden basin. Although the woman was dressed neatly, in Qinye and Donghuang Baiji's eyes, this woman was no different from not wearing any clothes. In short, the woman who walked out of Yihua's room was definitely tidied up by Yihua. Therefore, the moment the woman walked out of the room, she saw the two women, and felt that the two women looked a bit familiar. However, when the woman saw the clothes that the two women were wearing, she subconsciously kneeled down and knocked her forehead onto the floor. Her entire body was trembling. "Empress! Empress!" The woman shouted out with a panicked tone, and her entire body was trembling crazily. Qinye and Donghuang Baiji tightly clenched their fists, seemingly wanting to tear the woman in front of them into pieces. To actually do our man. This woman simply doesn't want to live anymore. What are you doing outside? Don't you feel ashamed? An ice-cold voice rang out from inside the room. Yihua naturally knew that Qinye and Donghuang Baiji had come, and furthermore, they came with killing intent. The woman who came in just now was just a room attendant, and she came in to deliver hot water to the woman. After washing her face, she was seen by the two women right after she walked out of the room. Yihua naturally knew what the two women were thinking about. They were definitely thinking that I, the Supreme Overlord, was messing around again. I, the Supreme Overlord, just want to ask, why don't you use your butts to think? Am I, the Supreme Overlord, such a hungry man? Even if I wanted to cause trouble, my target would definitely be dodgy. These two foolish women. As expected, after hearing Yihua's words, Qinye and Donghuang Baiji became even angrier. To actually protect this woman. That's impossible. Come in. Qinye said gravely. If a relationship were to happen, this woman would definitely die. There's nothing much to say. The room attendant was also quite unlucky to have met with these two unreasonable women who were going through menopause. The room attendant merely delivered a basin of hot water to the woman, but looking at the situation, it seemed as if she was going to lose her life. However, the woman did not dare to disobey. These two women who were dressed gorgeously, they were the empresses, the most respected women in the entire Wushu Empire. To be able to see them at such a close distance today, it was unknown if it was because of luck or something else. However, as the most respected women in the entire Wushu Empire, They actually listened to the words of the person inside the room. The person inside the room seems to be a middle-aged man. Just what is going on? Could it be that the two empresses put on the emperor? The woman did not dare to continue thinking about it. If such a thing were to happen, the entire Wushu Empire would probably be shaken. The woman walked into the room. She felt as if the air was going to freeze. This feeling was not very good, and even her heartbeat had slowed down by a lot. Just what are you two trying to do? The woman heard a different voice. This doesn't seem to be the voice of that man from just now. The woman mustered up her courage and raised her head to take a look. When she saw a man who was dressed in a yellow gown and that face, she immediately lowered her head. Her body was trembling slightly. It was unknown if she was trembling because she was afraid or because she was too excited. After all, she had just seen the most powerful man in Wushu Empire. How could she not be excited? Chapter 1331. What do you want? We also want to ask you, what is going on here? Qinya questioned angrily while pointing at the woman who was kneeling on the ground. Yihua was a bit angry in his heart. It's enough for the two of you to be so paranoid all day long. Us being paranoid? If that's the case, why did this woman walk out from your room so early in the morning? Donghuang Baiji asked coldly. Yihua's expression gradually became ice-cold. Why are you all being so loud for? Do you all have to make it known to everyone? The woman was very confused. What was going on with the emperor and empress? Why did it feel like their relationship wasn't that good? What? You don't dare to let others know about this scandal? Are the two of you crazy enough? Yihua suddenly stood up, and his aura immediately emerged. A lot of people were able to sense it. This aura was emitted by the boss of Voidless Empire. The location was not inside the palace, but outside. What was going on? Kai Yin soon received the news, and he was a little dumbfounded. However, as the internal manager of Voidless Empire, Kai Yin immediately ordered his subordinates to clear out the surroundings of the hotel. After all, I'm afraid that His Honor and Madam won't have an easy ending today. The children who were sleeping soundly, as well as the subordinates, all felt Yihua's anger and immediately woke up. After wearing their clothes, they left the room. His Honor, you have to calm down, don't get angry. However, in the guest room, the air seemed to be cold. Yihua did not retreat in the slightest. He thought about it carefully last night, and felt that his mother was right. As a man, he should be more magnanimous and not lower himself to a woman's level. Therefore, he decided to coax her today. I don't want my face anymore. Who would have known that they would accuse me of cheating without saying anything else? Although it wasn't cheating on me, they were still suspecting me. Am I that kind of man in your hearts? Am I that kind of man that has no taste? That's right. We have gone mad, but we were also forced to go mad by you. Although Qinya's tone was filled with anger, if one were to listen carefully, they would actually sound a little wronged. I drove you crazy. Are you trying to drive me crazy? Then tell me, what did this woman do? Did you sleep with her? Yihua, you are a bastard. Donghuang Baiji immediately started scolding at Yihua. Donghuang Baiji did not give any evidence at all. Yihua seemed to have been provoked by Donghuang Baiji's words, and he said coldly, Donghuang Baiji, this entire Voidless Empire belongs to me. I can do whatever I want. There is no need for you to worry about it. Sure enough, after hearing Yihua's disguised acknowledgement, Qinya and Donghuang Baiji found it hard to believe. Their entire bodies felt as if they had been struck by lightning, and they stood on the spot unmoving. The woman who was kneeling on the ground was still trembling. His Majesty had just admitted that he had a relationship with me. How is this possible? I'm so excited, so happy. I'm even willing to die now. Suddenly, the woman saw two more figures appear. He took a peek and didn't expect it to be the other two empresses. Heavens, what was going on? Was the emperor going to break up with the empress? God, I really want to share it with others. I can't stop myself. Right now, Yihua appeared to be very calm, as if he had just done a big thing. Qin Yutong and Qian Yuqing had just arrived, and they didn't know what was going on. However, looking at Qinya and Donghuang Baiji, they knew that the situation wasn't that good. Of course, there was also the woman who was kneeling on the ground. Qin Yutong didn't really believe it. No matter what, brother-in-law wouldn't do it. Even Qian Yuqing felt the same way. Yihua wasn't a lecherous person to begin with. Qingye and Donghuang Baiji must be thinking too much, or perhaps, they are looking for an excuse to quarrel with each other. Right now, the outside of the hotel was bustling with noise and excitement. A lot of yellow-armored soldiers were beginning to clear out the hotel. This kind of situation had not happened for the past 12 years. I didn't expect that it would actually happen today. This is simply too shocking. The terrifying aura that the emperor emitted out just now is definitely related to this matter. Furthermore, it was a large-scale clearing out of the hotel. From this, it could be seen how serious this matter was. The hotel was cleared out very quickly, and the surrounding buildings were also cleared out. Everyone was frantically guessing what exactly happened. The prince had just returned yesterday, so he should be happy. However, right now, outside of the room, all of his honor's subordinates were present, and even the children were present. Even God Yi and Lu Xiener were present. Everyone could sense that the atmosphere in the room was not good, and no one dared to enter the room and anger his honor. Among all of these people, I'm afraid that Dong Huangli is the only one. After all, Dong Huangli is the most beloved child of his honor and his honor's wife. Dong Huangli also knew what she had to do. Taking a deep breath, Dong Huangli walked into the room. The subordinates peeked through the gaps. There is actually a woman kneeling down inside. My God, could it be that his honor is really here? He was even caught on the spot by your wife. Was this proof enough? Your honor, aren't you being too careless? In the future, don't be like this anymore. Next time, if you are going to do something like this, bring your subordinates along as well. Inside the house, Daddy Mommy. Dong Huangli shouted out lightly. She felt that her father wouldn't do such a thing, and there must definitely be some misunderstanding between them. Dong Huangli called out to Yihua and Donghuang Baiji, but Yihua and Donghuang Baiji did not respond to her. Donghuang Baiji could be seen fiercely attacking that woman. This was definitely not a joke. Donghuang Baiji was planning to kill that woman. The woman kneeling on the ground was oblivious to the fact that she was about to die. After all, Donghuang Baiji was so powerful that ordinary people would not be able to sense her power. Seeing that the woman was about to lose her life, Donghuang Baiji seemed to have frozen in time. Evidently, it was Yihua who stopped the woman. After Yihua stopped the woman, Qingye and Donghuang Baiji's hearts completely exploded. You are actually still protecting this woman? Yihua, you are so ruthless. Qingye immediately took out a machete. Yihua's stance had already caused the woman to faint from fright. Yihua said coldly, I can protect whoever I want to protect. There is no need for me to report to you. Qingye did not say anything, and the machete directly chopped towards the woman's neck, taking away the woman's life. Yihua stopped the woman once again. He didn't give them any face at all. Yihua, do you want her or do you want us? Qingye asked coldly. Your questions are truly childish. Ali is daddy, right? Yihua asked his daughter. Dong Huangli indeed felt that her mother asked a very idiotic question. However, in this sort of situation, how could she possibly remain calm? She was completely unable to remain calm. Mommy, let's talk about it after we return home. This place isn't good for us. Dong Huangli persuaded. Even Dong Huangli knew that the outside wasn't the place to deal with family matters. No, if we don't make things clear today, none of you can even think of leaving. Donghuang Baiji shouted out coldly. All of Donghuang Baiji's subordinates who were outside understood what Donghuang Baiji said. Today's matter wouldn't end so happily. What are we going to do? If something happens to his honor's marriage, sigh. Chapter 1332. Yi Yan, who was standing outside, couldn't take it anymore, and pushed open the door, and entered as well. Right now, only we can stop them. Yi Lu saw that her big brother had entered as well. So she entered as well. God Yi naturally had to enter as well, but he didn't bring Lu Xiener along. After all, Lu Xiener had not gotten married yet. It was best not to touch this kind of thing. Even Yi Juetian didn't dare to enter as his big brother and sister-in-law had already lost their temper, and only the children could stop them. Sigh, just what is going on for things to actually become like this? It truly makes me feel ashamed. Yihua didn't pay attention to the children who entered as he said coldly towards Donghuang Baiji. What do you want to say? What do you want me to say? Dad, calm down, Mom didn't mean to anger you. Yi hurriedly persuaded. Although Mom would get a bit angry in the past, she wouldn't become like this. You all can come in, but stand at the side and don't speak. Also, don't stop me. I want to see what your mom is going to do today. Yihua said gravely. It was very obvious that he had already exploded. Once a husband and wife explode, it would be impossible to stop them. However, as long as one of them is willing to take a step back, it would be easy to solve the problem. However, looking at the current situation, taking a step back is impossible. It is completely impossible. Yihua had suppressed his temper for many years, while Qingye and Donghuang Baiji were bursting with anger. They had completely lost the ability of a woman to think. However, no woman would be able to remain calm after seeing such a situation. Seeing that their father's attitude was so firm, the children could only look towards their mother. Right now, if they were to take a step back, it would mean that they were going to break up. The children were all afraid. They were afraid that their father and mother would separate because of such a thing. Wei Chang and the others stood outside and listened to the conversation, and their expressions were very grave. In the past, when his honor and your wife were in love, it wasn't that they didn't quarrel with each other, but his honor had always tolerated them. Speaking of which, it's fine if a woman coaxes, but no matter how much a man coaxes, a man will get tired of it. Regarding this matter, the subordinates felt that your wife was indeed in the wrong. Comparatively speaking, Qing Yutong and Qian Yuqing were much better. Although they were angry, they didn't have the intention to contradict his honor. Lai Gu took a look at Wei Chang and sighed. In the past, his honor would still put on a show to redeem himself, but from the looks of it now, it is impossible for him to put on a show. If they were to break up, his honor would definitely not ask them to stay. This was something that was certain. I hope that for the sake of the children, your wife will stop going against his honor. This is not good for me, and not good for his honor as well. After causing such a huge commotion, the entire city was guessing what had happened. If this matter were to be leaked out, Voidless Empire would become the laughingstock of everyone. At that time, it would be even more difficult to deal with. When Qingye heard Yihua's words, her anger erupted like a volcano. Yihua, you ask us what we want. Why are you protecting this woman? I thought you had nothing to do with her. What's wrong with me protecting her? Do I need you to teach me how to do things? Whatever I do, I don't need any explanation. Yihua's tone became colder and colder, and his pair of eyes seemed especially distant, as if he was looking at a stranger. When Qingye and Donghuang Baiji saw the change in Yihua, they became even more furious. For the sake of a woman, Yihua actually treated us like this. We've been with you for almost 20 years. Was this the result he got in return? Do you not want to live anymore? Donghuang Baiji asked coldly. As expected, when the children heard Donghuang Baiji's words, they knew that something bad had happened. I can't say such things to my father. This is completely forcing me into a dead end. Mom, calm down a bit. Donghuang Li hurriedly pulled on to her mother. It has already been so many years. Don't you know father's temper? Father is the easiest to goad. Qian Yuqing knew everything. Big sister Baiji, calm down a bit. You two don't speak. Yihua shouted lightly. It was very rare for Yihua to transfer his anger onto his tone, and even the way he spoke was very indifferent and ordinary, without much fluctuation. When the subordinates outside heard his honor's tone, they immediately knew one thing, and that was his honor's death. It's not that his honor's death, it's that his honor's wife's death. The way of thinking of women and men is completely different. The women who were standing outside were actually able to understand his honor's wife's feelings. Encountering such a thing, his honor's wife's temper is really bad. His wife's temper is because she cares about his honor too much. If his honor doesn't care about his honor, who would care about what his honor is doing outside? In actuality, his honor isn't making a fuss right now. They just want to receive his honor's care. After so many years, the care that his honor gave to his honor's wife had become less and less. As a woman, this is a very bad thing. Gong Yu deeply understood what his honor was feeling. For this matter, it can't be said that who is at fault, it can only be said that both sides are at fault. Their personalities are also a bit incompatible. They still need to get used to each other. Following Yihua's anger, the children no longer dared to make a sound. They are completely unable to help Yihua at all, and they can only hope that this matter will end soon, right? Isn't there still Grandma? If I go and find Grandma, Father will definitely give me face. Dong Huangli immediately wanted to go and find Grandma. Ali, Yihua called out gravely. Dong Huangli's footsteps immediately stopped, then returned back to her original position. Father is currently Dong Huang Baiji. Can you repeat what you said just now? Yihua asked gravely. Look at me now, I'm directly calling my name. In the past, Dong Huang Baiji's nickname was always Her Majesty, or Baiji. Yihua calling Dong Huang Baiji as Dong Huang Baiji made Dong Huang Baiji feel uncomfortable. Dong Huang Baiji didn't have any intention of backing down, and she asked again. Do you not want to live anymore? Yihua looked towards Qingya. Are you going to ask this question as well? Yes, Qingya said coldly. All right. Then, I will answer this question of yours today. Qing Yutong and Qian Yuqing already knew the answer. It's over. Are these two women only going to be happy when they are courting death? The children also knew the result. Mom, why are you so foolish? It's not like you two don't know about Dad's personality. Are you two really convinced by Dad's personality? Or could it be that you two really don't want to live anymore with Dad? The subordinates outside sighed. In the end, things still ended up like this. Perhaps this ending is a good thing for both sides. Being together with his honor is already making the other party feel uncomfortable. What else can we do if we don't separate? Furthermore, as his honor's wife's way of doing things is already a disgrace to his honor. This is something that the subordinates are not willing to see. With a cold and detached gaze, Yihua took a look at the situation, then said faintly, since you two can't live anymore, then don't live anymore. Let's split it. Chapter 1335. Yi Juetian, who had flown into a rage out of humiliation, didn't even think before speaking, and he just said whatever he thought of. I don't know just how hurtful these kinds of words are. Gong Yu was dumbfounded, and her slender body slightly trembled. Am I this kind of woman in your heart? Back then, when you persecuted Yi, I thought you had changed. I didn't expect that after so many years, you're still the same. How long do you want to hide it? Tell me. Pa. A clear and melodious sound resonated throughout the entire street. Gong Yu held onto her face. Her mind was completely blank. The fiery pain on her face made her heart break. Even back then, Yi Juetian did not beat me up. However, today, Mother, a manic and immature voice rang out. A ferocious aura immediately wrapped around Yi Yi's body. Looking at how wronged his mother was, Yi Yi was furious. That unfamiliar father actually hit his mother. What right do you have to hit my mother? Even if you are my father. Her little fist flew straight towards her biological father. This punch landed solidly on Yi Juetian's cheek. However, in the end, Yi Yi's strength was too small. Even if he was enraged, he was still unable to move Yi Juetian in the slightest. His entire body fell onto the ground. Gong Yu saw her son fall to the ground and quickly hugged him. Mother! Yi Juetian's chest heaved up and down. His anger hadn't dissipated at all. Scram! I don't want to see you ever again. With that, he disappeared, leaving the mother and son alone. Hearing Yi Juetian's heartless words, Gong Yu's heart split apart. After waiting for so many years, to actually hear such a sentence from Yi Juetian. What did I do wrong? Mother, let's go. Let's leave this place. Yi Yi did not dare to say this before because he knew that his mother was waiting for his father. But why would such a heartless father come? Could it be that she couldn't live without him? At this moment, Gong Yu's heart seemed to have died. All of her hopes were completely extinguished by a single sentence from Yi Juetian. Meng Li looked at Gong Yu and the child beside her with a complicated expression. Yi Yi brought along his mother and disappeared into Wushu Empire. As for where they went, no one knew. Following the departure of the person involved, the surrounding people instantly went crazy, and the gossip spread crazily throughout the entire voidless empire. There were even many versions of it. What emperor's younger brother having an affair? That's true love. There was also the emperor's younger brother who abandoned his wife and son for the sake of a mistress. This was something that many people had seen with their own eyes. There were many other versions of the story. It was as if the royal family had lost all face and had become a laughing stock. Initially, Lin Fan had thought that the royal family of the Voidless Empire would not have anything messy to deal with. But to think that it would be the same as the other empires, where there would be such a melodramatic plot. This was truly something that caused one to sigh endlessly. Right now, Yi Juetian directly went to look for Yi Hua. Big brother definitely knows something. Big brother wouldn't lie to me. Yi wouldn't die. She was so kind. How could she die? No. Definitely not. These people were all lying to him. What did it mean by misfortune never comes alone? This was probably what it meant by misfortune never comes alone. Both brothers had encountered this kind of thing. Very quickly, Yi Juetian arrived at his big brother's sleeping quarters. Yi Hua's face was sunken as he sat on a chair and smoked. If it was any other time, Yi Juetian would definitely not anger his big brother at this time. However, this matter was related to Yi, so Yi Juetian had no choice but to ask about it. In Yi Juetian's heart, this matter was more important than anything else. It could also be said that the current Yi Juetian was the product of his impulsiveness, and he had lost his rationality. As long as he had a bit of rationality, he wouldn't do something like abandoning his wife and son. After all, the reason why Yi Juetian trained for so long was all for Yi. He was able to help Yi when she was in trouble. However, the news of Yi's death was something that Yi Juetian was unable to accept at all. Yi Hua looked at his little brother who ran into the room furiously. He took a faint look at Yi Hua, then retracted his gaze. Big brother. Yi Juetian shouted out gravely. What are you doing? Yi Hua asked coldly. The relationship between the two brothers immediately became strange. One dared to get angry, while the other dared to slap people. However, before Yi Juetian could reply, Qing Yutong and Qian Yuqing returned. Qing Ye and Donghuang Baiji did not return, and went to Lu Jing's sleeping quarters. They were definitely pulled over by Lu Jing to talk to them. As a mother, how could Yi Hua ignore them? The moment Qing Yutong and Qian Yuqing entered the room, they immediately discovered that the atmosphere was not right. These two brothers seemed to be about to fight. What is going on? Is Yi dead or not? Yi Juetian questioned. Hearing that it was regarding Yi, Qing Yutong and Qian Yuqing were a bit surprised. How did little Tian know about the news of Yi's death? This shouldn't be possible. Didn't Gong Yu say it? This doesn't make sense. Gong Yu shouldn't have told this news to Yi Juetian. Then how did little Tian know about it? Yes. She's dead. Yi Hua said coldly. His heart was already extremely bad, and at this time he still came to talk about this matter. Why didn't you tell me? What's the use of telling you? If I told you, would Yi be able to come back to life? Then why didn't you go and save Yi? Yi Hua suddenly stood up, and his gaze was cold like frost. This caused Yi Juetian to subconsciously take a step back. Qing Yutong and Qian Yuqing felt that something was wrong and hurriedly went forward to support Yi Hua. You two brothers should not fight anymore. If he had already saved Yi, Yi Hua would naturally go and save Yi, but he wasn't able to save her. Regarding this matter, Yi Hua felt a bit guilty and felt that he had let Yi down. However, the younger brother's question seemed to be saying, Big brother, aren't you very awesome? Why didn't you even save a woman? This caused Yi Hua to become angry. Yi Juetian, who am I going to save? If I am not going to save someone, it is not up to you to point your finger at me. Yi Hua pointed at Yi Juetian and shouted. He was a bit impulsive to attack Yi Juetian. Yi Hua wasn't the kind of person who liked to explain. Just now he didn't explain to Qing Ye and the others, and right now he wouldn't explain too much. Hearing his big brother's words, Yi Juetian's expression darkened even more. Big brother seems to be saying that I am not going to save Yi. Just as Yi Juetian was about to get angry, Wei Chong suddenly walked in. Your Honor, subordinate has something to report to you. After finished speaking, Wei Chong took a look at Yi Juetian who was at the side. Yi Hua said gravely, If there is anything, we can talk about it another day. Your Honor, You should listen to it first before making a decision. Yihua took a deep breath. Speak then. Wei Chang walked to Yihua's side, said in a low voice, then left. Yihua's expression became even more grave. This caused Qing Yutong and Qian Yuqing to be extremely worried. Just what did Wei Chang say just now? Yihua walked towards Yi Juetian, and his gaze was gloomy. Pa. Chapter 1336. This slap fiercely slapped onto Yi Juetian's face, directly knocking Yi Juetian onto the ground. Bastard! You actually chased Gong Yu and the child away. Why do I have a bastard little brother like you? Just now, what Wei Chang reported was precisely this matter. It must be said, the speed at which this matter spread was rather fast, and it instantly reached Wei Chang's ears. This matter concerns his honor's face, and it cannot be looked down upon. Hearing what Wei Chang said, Yihua was incomparably shocked. Before, he had thought that Yi's death would be a big blow to little Tian, but he didn't expect that little Tian would actually do such a thing, chasing away his wife and child. Is he still a human? I am not even a human. At most, I would only scold at my wife. I definitely wouldn't implicate the child. The main point is, the ones who are in the wrong are them. And what did that Gong Yu do wrong? Gong Yu waited for you for so long and even gave birth to your child. And yet, she was actually treated like this by you. Qing Yutong and Qian Yuqing were extremely shocked as they looked at Yi Juetian. They found it hard to believe that Yi Juetian would do such a thing. Perhaps Gong Yu did some excessive things in the past, but why did she do such a thing? Wasn't it all because of you, as a woman? Qing Yutong was still able to understand the pain in Gong Yu's heart. However, who could understand the world in Yi Juetian's heart? In order to become stronger, in order to be able to help Yi, even if it was just a little bit, he went to train, and he left for 12 years. Although 12 years wasn't much compared to a long life, it was still a lot of days and nights where he experienced life and death. Yi Juetian longed so much to see Yi again, and tell her that he had matured, that he had become steady, that he was able to let her settle down. There are too many things that I wanted to say to Yi, but to tell him right now that Yi had already died long ago. How could he possibly accept this? He felt as if he had completely gone crazy, as if the entire world was against him. Who would be able to understand this kind of feeling? The bridge in his heart collapsed with a loud bang. This could only mean that Yi's position in Yi Juetian's heart was too important. No matter if it was out of love or guilt towards Yi, Yi Juetian wanted to make it up to her. Yi Juetian, who was knocked onto the ground, touched the corner of his mouth. Looking at the blood stain on his thumb, Yi Juetian said gravely, "Brother, you have always been thinking about yourself. I finally understand why sister-in-law quarreled with you. It is because you are selfish. Everyone has to revolve around you, and everyone has to listen to you. It used to be like this, and it's still like this now. You never consider other people's feelings." Yi Juetian seemed to have gone mad and directly said it out loud. This was really insulting the heavens and the earth. Qian Yuqing hurriedly persuaded. "Xiao Tian, speak less." Qian Yuqing was really afraid that Yihua would slap Xiao Tian to death. Upon hearing that, Yihua suddenly laughed. "You are saying that I am selfish? What about yourself? You even chased away your wife and child. Compared to you, who is more selfish? Did you think that you would chase Gong Yu away just because she hid the news of Yi's death? Actually, it was I who told her to stop talking. Yi is already dead. This is an unchangeable law. I didn't let you know because I didn't want to see you like this. Have you ever thought about how Gong Yu has been living all these years? When you chase Gong Yu away, have you ever thought about her feelings? What qualifications do you have to lecture me?" "Ah!" Yihua shouted out in anger, and a burst of qi exploded out from his body, directly sending Yi Juetian flying onto the pillar. "Brother-in-law, calm down, don't be impulsive." Qing Yutong's head was about to explode. Yesterday was actually a good day. Why did everyone return? Why did the situation become even worse? Yihua did not pay attention to Qing Yutong and walked in front of his little brother, then grabbed onto Yi Juetian's collar. "I'm telling you, you better find Gong Yu and the child. If not, you can just die outside for me." After finished speaking, Yihua directly flung Yi Juetian, and like a cannonball, Yi Juetian crashed into the wall outside, causing rumbling sounds to ring out. Yi Juetian fell onto the ground with a wooden look on his face. His eyes were lifeless as he looked blankly at the sky. His brain was no longer able to think normally. So I misunderstood Gongyu. Gongyu only listened to Big Brother's words. She, F***ck. Yi Hua couldn't help but curse out, then smashed the wooden chair beside him into pieces. Qin Yutong and Qian Yuqing didn't know how to console Yi Hua, and in the end, they decided to let Yi Hua calm down first. Right now, no matter what they said, Yi Hua wouldn't listen to them. At this moment, the news also reached Lu Jing's ears. After hearing it, Lu Jing's entire body didn't feel good, and she seemed as if she was going to faint. Why did the relationship matters between my two sons become like this? Upon seeing that, Qingye and Donghuang Baiji immediately held on to Lu Jing. Mother, what happened? What happened? This bastard little Tian. To actually do such a thing. This is simply the misfortune of our family. Lu Jing held onto her forehead, and her face was filled with grief. Gongyu is such a good child, and yet, she was actually chased away by your father. Did your conscience get eaten by a dog? You simply don't know how much hardship Gongyu had to go through all these years. As a man, you actually hit your own woman. This is too disappointing. Thoroughly disappointing. Everyone felt very sad about Yi's death, but we shouldn't blame this matter on Gongyu, and we shouldn't use Gongyu to vent our anger on. Qingye and Donghuang Baiji went into a daze. Little Tian actually did such a thing. As expected of brothers, these two brothers are not good people. One is fooling around outside, and the other dares to chase away his wife and child. Like big brother, like little brother. I'm tired, I want to rest for a bit. Lu Jing said in a low voice. I don't really want to care about this anymore, this is too torturous. My two sons are going to torment me to death sooner or later. Mother, you should rest well then, we will be leaving first. Lu Jing nodded her head. At the doorway, Donghuang Li and Yi Yan were both waiting for their mother to come out. The children were both mentally and physically exhausted. They didn't expect that such a thing would happen right after they came back. As expected of the saying, every family has its own difficulties. This was a law that would never change. No matter how powerful a family was, such a melodramatic plot would still appear. I wonder if Grandma's persuasion will work. Yi Lu said in a low voice. Godyi stood at the side and didn't say anything. Lu Xiener, who was at the side, felt that the relationship between Godye's family was rather complicated. Perhaps it will work. Yi Yan said faintly. There was a crack in the relationship between father and mother. With father's temper, he would definitely not apologize, and mother's temper was rather tyrannical as well. If this goes on, it will be over for them sooner or later. When you adults quarrel, isn't it the children who suffer? Sai, it's not that simple. Donghuang Li said lightly. At this moment, Qingye and Donghuang Baiji pushed open the door and walked out. Chapter 1337. Mom. The children called out. Seeing that the children were all standing at the door waiting, Qingye and Donghuang Baiji felt a bit better. At least, they didn't run over to that bastard's side and knew to stand on their mother's side. This was also Qin Yutong's idea. She and Qian Yuqing went to calm Yi Hua down, while the children came over to calm their mother down. This should be the best temporary solution. Qingye and Donghuang Baiji looked at the children and felt wronged. Seeing that their mother was about to cry, the children were speechless. Donghuang Li and Yi Lu hurriedly went over to comfort their mother. And after they comforted their mother, the mother became even worse. Donghuang Li began to cry even more fiercely, and even kept on scolding Yi Hua about how bad he was towards their mother, and how bad he was towards their mother. The children listened and did not say anything. Women, after all, would inevitably complain a bit. Right now, Godyi was experiencing it in his heart. Godyi, don't learn from your father, treat Xiener better, understand? Donghuang Baiji said to her son seriously. However, like father, like son, Godye's personality was rather similar to Yi Hua's. He was also the most similar out of the four children. Mom, you are sad. Perhaps, not long later, you will become a grandmother. Donghuang Li could only use some happy things to wash away the sadness in her mother's heart. As expected, When Dong Huang Baiji heard that she was going to have a grandson, she immediately stopped crying. Really? Dong Huang Baiji looked at God Yi and Lucien. That focused gaze of hers was as if she was going to have a grandson. Lucien was embarrassed by Dong Huang Baiji's gaze. She kept staring at my stomach. I just did it last night. How can I have a child so quickly? Mother's reaction made God Yi a bit embarrassed. I don't even know what happened last night. I don't even know if this child is pregnant or not. Seeing the reaction of the two children, Dong Huang Baiji knew that the gloominess in her heart immediately disappeared. Great, this is great. Mom is waiting to carry a grandson. This is great. Where am I going to find a grandson for Mom to carry? God Yi felt helpless. Is big sister trying to help? Or is she trying to cause trouble? As the big sister, Dong Huangli could only help to this extent. Little brother, work hard and give birth to a child. Perhaps, when the child is born, the relationship between mom and dad will become better. After all, when a child is born, it means that there is hope. Right now Dong Huang Baiji was happy. However, Qingye felt even worse. Look at God Yi. He has found a girlfriend and is about to have a child. Looking at his own son, he was still single. Just thinking about it made his heart ache. Yi Yan could feel what his mother was thinking. He subconsciously looked away, indicating that he didn't know anything. That's right. Why not let Luer find a boyfriend and give birth to a child to make her mother happy? Just as Yi Yan was about to voice out his suggestion, Yi Lu spoke first. Mom, actually, brother has a girlfriend too. He's just too embarrassed to bring her home. Yi Yan was stupefied. My goodness, you are even faster than me. Yi Lu still didn't know what her big brother was going to do, and she knew that her big brother was definitely planning to make things difficult for her little sister. Since that's the case, don't blame her little sister. Also, big brother, it's about time for you to find a girlfriend. Look at brother God Yi. The child is about to come out. Don't fall behind. Qingye was delighted. Yener, is what little sister said true? Looking at his mother's joyful expression, Yi Yan really wanted to deny it, but the result of denying it was that his mother was disappointed again. Look at how happy Baiji's mother is. Yi Lu, just you wait. Mom, about that. You know what I mean. Yi Yan could only do this. Right now, as long as I can make my mother happy, I will do anything. Qingye said petulantly. Yener, seriously, look at Sheng. Even you know to bring your girlfriend home for mom to see, yet you are the one who is hiding her. That's too rude. Tomorrow, bring someone else home for mom to see. Ah, tomorrow? Yi Yan cried out in surprise. Where am I going to find a girlfriend? Is there a problem? Of course there is. That person's house is very far away. Furthermore, their family education is very strict. They are not allowed to come out. If that's the case, then mom will accompany you. Yi Yan, my dear sister, you have caused trouble for your brother this time. If mom knew that I lied to her, she would definitely be even angrier. You are just adding oil to the fire. No need, no need. This is so rude. How about I go and persuade them? All right, if the other party's parents don't allow it, mom will go over. After all, there is a need to meet the in-laws. Yi Yan immediately became speechless. All right, I will try my best. Dong Huang Baiji smiled towards Qingye and said, Congratulations. Same to you too, Qingye said with a smile. As expected, when a boy has a girlfriend, this mother will be especially happy. She even forgot about the matter of quarreling with her father. Looking at his mother who left happily, Yener was like a deflated ball. Then Yener stared at Yi Lu. Brother, hurry up and go and find her. After finished speaking, Yi Lu ran away. If not, if I am caught by my brother, I will be done for. Yi Lu, count yourself lucky that you ran away fast. Yi Yan said gravely. God Yi said softly. Big sister, brother, I won't be accompanying you two anymore. I have to hurry up and go back to make a baby. Lucien immediately became speechless. This is a very romantic matter, and you actually turned it into a kind of mission. Can't you have a proper conversation? Now, only Dong Huang Li and Yi Yan were left at the scene. Big sister, think of a way, save me. Yan, if I were you, I would hurry up and go and find a girlfriend. Big sister, The time is so short, where am I going to find a girlfriend? Do you have any close female friends? It would be good for you to cooperate with Mom and make Mom happy. Dong Huangli shook her head. The only close female friend that you have is my little brother. Also, if you are going to find a girlfriend, don't look for her in the empire. Dad will be able to find out her identity in a short while. Try to stay as far away as possible. What you said makes sense. Lu can't you change to another method? How can you go and find a girlfriend so carelessly? Good luck to you. I will go and see how Dad is doing. When adults quarrel, us children are truly worried to death. Dong Huangli let out a long sigh, then slowly walked away. Yi Yan, who had a gloomy look on his face, was left behind. Right now, Yi Yan was thinking of various plans in his mind. Spend some money to find an actress and come back to act in a show. As for the future, just say that their personalities are incompatible, and they broke up. As expected, this is the method that scumbags usually use to break up. Should I look for Uncle Wei? Uncle Wei doesn't even go out to fool around. Where would I find any resources? That's right. Let's look for Aunt. Isn't Aunt the Empress of God's realm? She has a lot of resources in her hands. Let Aunt find an actress for me. Chapter 1338. As long as he dealt with his mother, it would be fine. He would just deal with it like this for now. What a headache. However, he hadn't seen his aunt yet, and had only heard his mother talk about her yesterday. He didn't know if his aunt was easy to talk to and if she could find a movie empress-level expert for him. His parents had discerning eyes, and if it was fake, they would be able to see through it right away. However, to make his mother happy, this was the only thing he could do. Maybe if his mother was happy, she would have something to talk to his father about. For the sake of family harmony, it seemed like he had to find his aunt. After making his decision, Yi Yan headed straight to God's world. To God's world, this place was still a little foreign. However, there was a sense of novelty. Although Wushu Empire had changed a lot, the palace had always been the same, so there was still a sense of familiarity. Walking on the streets of Spirit Capital, Yi Yan looked around curiously. Was this where gods lived? He thought it would be some sort of celestial realm. In the end, he didn't expect it to be even behind compared to Wushu Empire. He was a little disappointed. In the past, he often heard about how amazing the gods were in deity institution. They were just bragging to the heavens. In the end, he realized that the gods' world that was bragged about was just like that. It was best if he went to find his aunt. This matter was a little more urgent. Directly charge into the palace? That seemed a little rash. It was his first time meeting his aunt, so it wasn't good to be so rash. Stop. Who are you? The guards at the door directly blocked Yi Yan's path. They crossed their spears in front of Yi Yan to block him. I am looking for my aunt. Yi Yan smiled. Looking for aunt? The guard was a little stunned. This was just toying with the two of them. Yi Yan quickly explained. The Empress is my aunt, so you all know. The guard's expression became a little ugly. There had to be a limit to playing with people. You actually said that the Empress was your aunt. Why don't you say that Prince Yi is your father? What is going on? Only to see that a carriage had appeared. A sweet voice spread out from within. It was really comfortable, like one was bathing in sunlight. Lord Envoy, this person says that the Empress is his aunt. The guard cupped his hands and said respectfully, Aunt? As far as I know, the Empress is ranked second in the Yi family, and the eldest is Prince Yi. Who is Prince Yi to you? Yi Yan was helpless. Originally, he wanted to act cool, but in the end he was seen through. Boring. Lord Yi is my father. Yi Yan's heroic spirit was soaring to the heavens. Using his own father's name really feels good. There is nothing better than this. My father's name is Yi Hua, think about it. Sure enough, when Yi Yan said this, everyone was shocked. Even the woman in the carriage was shocked. She was just guessing. He didn't expect that the young man outside was actually Lord Ye's son. Do you know the consequences of pretending to be Prince Ye's son? At this time, the guards did not dare to offend him easily. There were many people who pretended to be relatives of the Empress, but there was basically no one who pretended to be relatives of Prince Yi. This was the first time. I know. I really have something urgent to see Aunt. Yi Yan said anxiously. What if his mother had a sudden impulse and wanted to meet his girlfriend's family? At that time, she would definitely tell him. You and your father are the same, lying to your mother. Why is mother's life so bitter? Being bullied by you and your father like this, mother doesn't want to live anymore. When he thought of how his mother was going to cry and hang herself, Yi Yan's head became big. This was simply too terrifying. Just thinking about it made his entire body numb. He must bring a girlfriend back to deal with this. Get in the carriage, I will bring you in. The voice in the carriage was still so gentle, making Yi Yan feel very comfortable. He directly jumped into the carriage. The guard seemed to want to stop them, but the guard at the side stopped him with a look. If the great messenger guaranteed it, then it would be fine. Even if something happened, it would not be his fault. Yi Yan was actually also very curious about the pretentious woman in the carriage. Therefore, even if he sat in the carriage and spoke, he would be suspected of being pretentious. Then let me, Gongziyi, see what kind of divine being you are. However, when he saw the woman in the carriage, Yi Yan felt that as expected of a pretentious woman. She even masked her face, 666. Wearing a veil and a white skirt, dressed like a saint, Gongziyi did not have any feelings for such a saint. Speaking of which, if she wore all black and held a box in her hand, she would definitely be even scarier. You seem to be a little disappointed. You can even see through this, admirable. Yi Yan cupped his hands. It was not that he had never seen a beautiful woman before. Since he was young, he had seen a beauty like his mother, so his immunity was very strong now. The woman was a little unconvinced. Are you looking down on me? Indeed, you are the son of Lord Yi, you can look down on everyone. Yi Yan looked back at the woman doubtfully. Why do your words sound so sour? Even if you want to fill up your brain, you can't fill it up like this. Don't randomly put labels on me. I am a low-key and luxurious man. After saying that, he took out his folding fan and opened it with a swoosh. Speaking of pretentious, I, Yi Yan, am no longer a bronze contestant. I am at least a silver contestant. Sigh, my peerless appearance. Seems like you are indeed the son of Lord Yi. Yi Yan was speechless. Beauty, don't always say that I am the son of Lord Yi. It makes me very surprised. This is the truth. If you were not the son of Lord Yi, you would not even be able to enter the door today. If you were not the son of Lord Yi, perhaps you would still be unknown where you are now. After hearing this, Yi Yan was instantly unhappy. It was as if she was saying that he relied on his father. I, Yi Yan, rely on the heavens, rely on the earth, and rely on myself. All right, you are right. Who asked me to have a good father, allowing me to do whatever I want? Yi Yan grinned and looked at the woman with a naughty smile, as if he was about to do something dirty. The woman did not expect that Yi Yan would say that. She seemed to be a little disappointed in her heart, thus she remained silent. Seeing that the woman did not speak, Yi Yan did not speak as well. I am too lazy to speak. You only know how to act pretentious, not even speaking, as if you are very awesome. I, young Master Yi, have never acted pretentious like this. Not long later, the carriage stopped. Yi Yan directly jumped off the carriage. Staying together with this kind of woman is simply going to make my balls hurt. Looking at the stairs in front of him, Yi Yan directly walked up, too lazy to look at the woman behind him. Arriving at the front of the main palace, Yi Yan put away his silk pants attitude and became serious as he walked into the palace. Yi Yuanqing just received the news that his nephew actually came to look for him. Thus he hurriedly contacted his big brother. Big brother said that his son had indeed returned. So it turns out that he went to look for his aunt. Yi Hua was a little puzzled. Why did Yi Yan go to look for Yuanqing? Looking at the woman on the throne, Yi Yan sized her up. Indeed, she looks a bit similar to father. Yi Yuanqing was also looking at Yi Yan. What a handsome child. Chapter 1339. Aunt. Yi Yan suddenly called out. Eldest nephew. Yi Yuanqing shouted too. The atmosphere was a little weird. Anyway, Yi Yan was dumbfounded. His aunt was a little arrogant. Yi Yuanqing smiled and gestured for the people around to leave. Don't interrupt the conversation between aunt and niece. Big brother's son is really interesting. He is not as cold as Big Brother. How nice is that? However, just as Yi Yan was about to discuss business with his aunt, the crisp sound of footsteps suddenly rang out. Yi Yan stopped instantly. Was this woman trying to go against him? She really knew how to find the right spot. Greetings, Empress. So it's an envoy. What's the matter? Empress, I'm here to bid farewell to you. Yi Yuanqing was stunned for a moment. Envoy, are you ready to go back so soon? Could it be that I did not treat you well enough? Your Majesty, you must be joking. I like this place very much. I really hope that I can stay here for a long time. Yi Yan choked and muttered, saying one thing and thinking another. Although the voice was very soft, it was still heard. Yi Yuanqing asked curiously, Nephew, you know the messenger? I wouldn't dare, Yi Yan said in a low voice. Yi Yuanqing thought to himself. It seemed like there was a conflict. Looks like I've offended Lord Ye's son. I wonder if I'll be killed on the way back, the woman said softly. Judging from her tone, it seemed that she intended to go against Yi Yan. I say, woman, is there something wrong with you? I know, you're trying to get my attention. You're just trying to play the trick. Aunt, look, this messenger is seducing your nephew, seducing Prince Ye's son. Yi Yan's words were neither servile nor overbearing, as if he was a hero, standing on the moral high ground and condemning this filthy woman. Fighting with me, Yi Yan, you're still too inexperienced. Yi Yuanqing wanted to smooth things over. He smiled and said, all right. Don't make it seem like a quarrelsome quarrel. Who's his enemy? The two of them said in unison. Yi Yuanqing chuckled. By the way, why did you come to me today? I just talked to your father. Yi Yan glanced at the woman next to him. There are outsiders here. How can I say it out loud? I didn't expect Prince Ye's son to have something he can't say. Who said I can't say it? I, Yi Yan, am the benchmark on the road. Then tell me. If you want me to say it, I'll say it. Who do you think you are? Isn't it because you don't dare to say it? Who wouldn't dare? Tell me then. I won't say it. I'm going to piss you off. Yi Yuanqing watched as the two of them started to argue. And he found that Man Deng was right. He wondered what his big brother was thinking. Qiyu wasn't very old. She was only a few hundred years older than Yi Yan. Her family background wasn't bad either. She was well educated, gentle, and virtuous. She was also very smart. She would definitely be able to help Yi Yan in the future. There was no need to mention her looks. Qiyu was a standard beauty. She would be a good wife. All right. The two of you stop for a moment. Those who don't know would think that you are a couple bickering with me, said Yi Yuanqing with a smile. Yi Yan looked at his aunt in disbelief. Aunt, stop joking. Is she a woman? Qiyu was also a gentle woman, but when she heard what Yi Yan said, she almost exploded in anger. You say that I'm not a woman, then I say that you're not a man. I'm not a man. Do you want to come and have a taste of my fierceness? See how awesome I am. Vulgar. Shameless. Prince Ye's son is too much. Qiyu was so angry that her face turned red. Prince Ye's illustrious reputation has been ruined by your hands. However, when Yi Yan heard Qiyu say that he was Prince Ye's son, he felt a headache. Isn't it good to call him by his name? Why did she add son? Isn't she sick? Forget it, Mr. Yi. I won't lower myself to a woman's level. Yi Yuanqing, who was sitting on the throne, had a smile on the corner of his mouth as he looked at the two of them quarreling. Seems like this aunt, have to be the matchmaker. Big brother can also be a bit more at ease. To you, this child is still very outstanding. There is no problem for her to enter our Yi family. However, she was angered quite badly by her nephew. This is not a good start. All right. Quiet down for a moment, Yi Yuanqing said with a slight smile. The two stopped quarreling, looking like they were unwilling to pay attention to each other. Nephew, if you have something to say, just say it. Qiyu is not an outsider. And the matter that I want to say is very important, so it cannot be heard by outsiders. Yi Yan naturally wouldn't say it in front of other people. He was very particular about this. Empress, then I will take my leave first, Qiyu said respectfully, then slightly bowed her body and left. Bye-bye. Yi Yan waved his hand, causing Qiyu's tone to be quite heavy. After Qiyu left, Yi Yuanqing shook her head and said, Nephew, this Chuyu is quite a good person. You are a man, so you have to give in to others. Aunt, you didn't see her, she was too arrogant. The moment she opened her mouth, she said that I am Prince Ye's son, making me seem like a profligate son. Yiyan was actually in a bad mood. This is just a matter of custom for others, Yi Yuanqing explained. There is such a custom. Yiyan pouted his mouth. Forget it, let's not talk about this anymore. Chuyu has already left because of me. Yi Yuanqing stood up and walked in front of Yi Yan. I have long heard Big Brother talk about you. Seeing you today, you are truly not bad. Of course. Hearing the praise, Yi Yan immediately felt a bit smug. All right, little fellow, what did you come to look for Aunt for? Right now it is just the two of us. Yi Yan let out a deep sigh. And, Aunt, do you know that the relationship between my parents is very stiff? Yi Yuanqing of course knew about it. Every year, he would go and take a look at their relationship, and at the end, he found out that there was a problem between Big Brother and sister-in-law. What happened? They exploded, they got into a scolding fight. It was just this morning. They were scolding to their heart's content. They almost broke up. Ah, so serious. Yi Yuanqing cried out in surprise. I didn't expect that the matter would be so serious. Yi Yan shook his head. My little brother, he found a girlfriend. Last night, they did that, and it was as if the child is going to be born soon. Baiji's mother was very happy. I am the only son of my mother, and I don't have a girlfriend right now, so you are looking for Aunt to give birth to the child? Yi Yan, what the hell? What is wrong with Aunt's brain circuit? Aunt is just joking with you. Do you want Aunt to introduce a girlfriend to you? Yi Yuanqing was a bit mischievous. Seeing Yi Yan's stupefied expression, Yi Yuanqing felt that it was really funny. Not introducing a girlfriend. It is just arranging an actress to pretend to be my girlfriend and make my mother happy for a bit. Once they are happy, they will definitely have something to say to my father. This idea is not bad. All the children have their own families, and for the parents, it is good. Chapter 1340. Then Aunt, do me a favor for the sake of our family's harmony. She has already been angered away by you. How can Aunt help? After hearing that, the corner of Yi Yan's mouth slightly twitched. He pointed to the back and said, Aunt, it can't be. You mean the one just now? Forget it. Let's change to another one. Nephew, then do you know what the consequences of changing to another one will be? Yi Yuanqing smiled faintly, looking like an auntie holding a lollipop. What consequences? Yi Yan asked curiously. Yi Yuanqing walked with his hands behind his back and said slowly, Nephew, you asked Aunt to find an actress to cooperate with you, but do you know your identity? My identity? Yes, although I am an actress. Aunt will tell you that there are too many women who want to marry into Yi family. With the conditions that you said, no woman will reject it, even if it is acting. But nephew, if your family approves of it, do you think you can get rid of it so easily? Yi family is very tempting. After hearing that, Yi Yan felt that what Aunt said was reasonable. Finding a woman is enough, but if I have to clean up the mess later on, wouldn't that be even more troublesome? After all, I am so outstanding, there are definitely a lot of women who want to stick to me. If they want to die, then I am finished. But this girl, Chuyu, Aunt dares to guarantee that she has no intention of marrying into our Yi family. You saw it just now, she can still go against you, but it is a pity that you angered her away, sigh. Yi Yuanqing sighed lightly and took a glance at Yi Yan. In the end, he is still a youngster. Can I change to another one? Aunt, don't make things difficult for me. There are definitely girls like that. Yi Yan said seriously, asking me to beg her again. Where is my face? If I lose my face, isn't that the same as losing my dad's face? Even if I have to jump off a cliff, I will not beg her. Yi Yuanqing shook her head. Nephew, do you think that any random girl will be able to pass? No matter if it is her appearance or her character, Chuyu is top-notch. If sister-in-law sees her, she will definitely be very happy. Yi Yan did not say anything. Indeed, I still have to consider my parents' taste. In any case, I am also an older brother. How can I be worse than God Yi? Although she is just an actress, she must still be a professional actress. Is she really good-looking? Yi Yan said softly. Yi Yuanqing covered her mouth and chuckled. Yi Yan said helplessly, "Aunt, everyone loves beauty. It's normal." "Didn't you say you were acting? Why do you care about your looks?" "Of course. After all, everyone in our family is so good-looking. Auntie is also beautiful." Yi Yan immediately flattered, making Yi Yuanqing very happy. After all, she was an empress, and no one dared to praise her so directly. "At least you know how to talk. But to be honest, I've never seen Chuyu's looks before. She's from another plane's royal family, and she's even a princess. Her beauty is second to none. Don't worry, I won't harm you. Holy sh*t, and she's the princess of another plane. This title isn't bad. Does this count as a friendship between the two countries? Looks like I, Yi Yan, will have to contribute as soon as I return." "So that's how it is, Aunt Ah. But I have already angered her to that extent. Would she still help me?" Yi Yan was a little uncertain. If he knew that he was looking for someone else, then he should keep a low profile. Don't make her angry. It was really the will of the heavens. Yi Yuanqing patted onto Yi Yan's shoulder. "Nephew, Chuyu is very interested in our family, do you understand?" Yi Yan instantly understood. This Chuyu is indeed an envoy, but she also wants to find out about Yi family's situation. That's why Chuyu's current request was exactly what she wanted. "Hee, Aunt, you are too good. Hurry up and go. If not, she will really leave." "Alright, then Aunt will leave first. After I pacify my mother, I will come and thank Aunt. We are a family. Why are you being so polite? Don't bully Chuyu, do you understand? Don't worry, Aunt." Yi Yan waved his hand and immediately ran out. Yi Yuanqing laughed lightly and immediately contacted his big brother. "Why did Yenna look for you?" Yihua asked faintly. "Big brother, Yenna asked me to find a girlfriend for him to coax sister-in-law. And then, didn't I just happen to have a girl who is both talented and virtuous, so I introduced her to Yi Yan. Big brother, I feel that they are quite compatible. Do you want to try matchmaking them? Is she reliable?" "Big brother, don't worry. She is just rather curious about our Yi family. The girl is very nice and gentle. She is a princess from another plane. And I will take a look at her when the time comes. I have troubled you regarding Yenner's matter." "Big brother, what are you saying? Yenner is also my nephew. I still have to worry about things that I should be worried about. However, big brother, you and sister-in-law. Don't mention them, just hearing about them makes me angry." Yihua said gravely. "Alright, big brother, don't get angry and harm your body. We are all family." Yihua let out a light sigh. "I have something to do here. When I am free, I will come over and accompany mother to have a meal." "And I understand." Cutting off the voice transmission, Yi Yuanqing rubbed his forehead. Big brother's family matter sure is a bit troublesome. Right now, Yi Yan still didn't know that the matter of finding an actress had already been discovered by Yihua, and was currently chasing after the carriage. Luckily, they didn't go too far and didn't leave the palace. Wait. Yi Yan immediately blocked in front of the carriage, startling the horse and causing it to let out a neigh. A cold voice came out from within the carriage. "Son of Prince Yi, are you thinking of killing me in the palace?" Yi Yan really wanted this Chuyu to change her way of addressing him. "But right now, I have a favor to ask of her. No matter how angry I am, I have to endure it." Thus Yi Yan's tensed face smiled and entered into the carriage. "Vulgar, you are a girl, and the moment you open your mouth, it is so unharmonious, isn't it? Don't be so mischievous here," Chuyu said lightly. "Yi Yan, damn it, if it wasn't because I have a favor to ask of you, do I need to be so mischievous here? About that, actually, I feel that, the weather today is really good." Yi Yan wanted to say, but no matter what, he couldn't say it. "This is too embarrassing. I should have let my aunt speak on my behalf. You have something you need my help with?" Chuyu asked lightly. Just now, after scolding at Yi Yan, he came over to block the carriage and even has a mischievous smile on his face. He definitely has a favor to ask of me. F***K. Am I that obvious? Yi Yan laughed out loud, using his laughter to cover up his awkwardness. There is indeed such a small matter. Son of Prince Yi, don't tell me that you shouldn't apologize to me for what happened in the past. What? What is what? You are scolding me again. Chuyu said angrily. Does this son of Prince Yi like to bully people that much? Chapter 1341. No, definitely not. This is just the words from my hometown. It means to be surprised. Yi Yan still had the ability to bullsh *t. In order to make his mother happy, he had no bottom line. Chuyu nodded her head. Then apologize. There's no need for that. I didn't do anything to you, and you scolded me too. Yi Yan felt that this woman was just being unreasonable. Don't force me. You were stopped outside the palace. Was it me who brought you in? It's fine if you don't thank me, but you are still acting all high and mighty, and when you saw the Empress, you even humiliated me. I have never been humiliated like this in my life. If you weren't Prince Ye's son, Damn, it's just a small matter. And you have already stretched the matter to the point of humiliation. Can you be even more shameless? And it's this kind of address again. Alright, it's my fault. I shouldn't have humiliated you. Calm down. Yi Yan was helpless. He didn't want to lower himself to a woman's level. Now he finally understood how troublesome women were. And he could also understand his father's sorrow. How could he endure his mother's bad temper? After hearing that, Chuyu did not say anything. It could be considered as accepting the apology, and her heart felt a bit better. You can help me now, right? When did I say that I will help you? Yi Yan went into a daze. Hey? You can't go back on your words, right? Prince Ye's son, there seems to be a bit of a problem with your ability to understand. Damn. There is a problem with this understanding. This woman is the king of verbal cannons. The kind that can kill you with just a bit of faulty language. Seems like I can only use my big move. I hope that what Aunt said is right. Follow me home. Pretend to be my woman. Yi Yan directly stated his purpose. It was really simple and clear. Although Yi Yan's words made Chuyu go into a daze, she had actually guessed that the Empress wanted to talk about family matters with her nephew. Seems like this is what this Prince Ye's son is talking about. Yi family. Seeing that Chuyu was hesitating, Yi Yan felt refreshed. Seems like what Aunt said is right. Just now you were suppressing me, now I want to get back at you. If you are not willing, then forget it, I am leaving. Without waiting for Chuyu to react, Yi Yan directly jumped off the carriage. Actually, he was a bit nervous. What if this woman did not call him? What if she ran back obediently? No, this woman wanted to go to the Yi family. Now was the best time. She would definitely not let go of this opportunity. Yi Yan counted down in his heart as he walked back. I'll count to 10. This woman will definitely not be able to hold it in. If she can hold it in, young Master Yi, will eat shit live without frowning. The sound of the carriage rolling on the ground rang out. Yi Yan had already started counting down to 20. And this woman actually did not call out to me to stop. *CK me. So powerful. If I turn around, I'll jump off the city wall. After quite a while, inside the carriage, Yi Yan said, Beautiful lady, just help me really please. Yi Yan never beg anyone. Yi Yan was really defeated by this woman. Not in terms of force, but in terms of mentality. She was indeed the girl that his aunt liked. She was so stable and would definitely not give herself away in front of his parents. Prince Ye's son, I'm also an innocent woman. I'll pretend to be your wife and go home with you. Once you've done your job, what about my reputation? It can't be you want me to marry you? The corner of Chuyu's mouth twitched. She wished that she could just kick Yi Yan and put aside her recuperation. You're thinking too much. It's good that you're not. If you have any requests, feel free to tell me. If I can satisfy it, I will satisfy all of them. Chuyu lightly rubbed her chin, then looked at Yi Yan and asked faintly, If you can tell me on what basis should I help you, I will promise you. On the basis that you are interested in my family, Yi Yan directly said. This caused Chuyu to go into a daze for a moment. After quite a while she said, As expected of Prince Ye's son, I can promise you, but you have to promise me a few things. Tell me. I have already pretended to cooperate with you, but after we go to your family, you have to give me a detailed introduction. During this period of time, we are only pretending, and there cannot be any physical contact. Yi Yan was speechless. Big brother, pretending to be husband and wife without any physical contact? Who would believe that? That will depend on the situation. If you do something excessive, even if I die, I will expose your conspiracy. Damn, isn't it just pretending to be husband and wife? You are making it seem like I am trying to usurp the throne. Relax, I am not interested in you. Yian took a glance at Chiyu. She was wrapped up tightly, and nothing could be seen on her body. However, Aunt said that her looks are not bad. As long as she is around the same as Gadia's wife, it will be fine. If I surpass her, it would seem like I am acting cool, haha. It better be like that. In the past, there have been men who said that before, but in the end, she really smells good. Yi Yan's jaw was about to drop onto the ground. Are you sure that this isn't someone from the same hometown? Relax, even if I die, I will not do anything to you. Yi Yan patted his chest and said seriously. When are we going? We are going now. However, before that, we still have to discuss how we got to know each other. If not, if we ask about something that doesn't match up, that won't do. Chiyu nodded her head, agreeing with Yi Yan. I will bring you around Wushu Empire first. Have you been there before? Yi Yan asked curiously. Yes. Thinking about it, you will go there too. Tonight, I will bring you around the Imperial Palace. After hearing that, Chiyu became a bit nervous. After all, this is Prince Ye's house, and I didn't expect that I would be able to enter it this way. I have heard about it before, and now that I am able to see it with my own eyes, I am nervous and excited. Can you promise me one thing? Yi Yan said solemnly. What thing? Don't call me Prince Ye's son anymore, just call me Brother Yan, alright? This kind of request was not too much, so Chiyu nodded her head and agreed. Then, since we are going to disguise ourselves, are you going to take off your veil? I have to take a look as well. If not, if someone asks me, I won't even know what you look like. You can be at ease. I am still very confident in my looks. I will not make you lose face. Chiyu said lightly. Seems like she is indeed very confident in this aspect. Yi Yan did not force her. Alright, but don't trick me. If you don't make me angry, I naturally won't trick you. Fortunately, that is not true. Yi Yan let out a light sigh. If I have a wife like this, I will really have a big headache. It is not good to be too smart. Sometimes, it is cuter for a woman to pretend to be stupid. Chiyu naturally heard what Yi Yan said, and she snorted coldly. The two directly went to Wushu Empire. Yi Yan and Chiyu also talked about how they got to know each other, and so on and so forth. Only after both of their testimonies matched up did Yi Yan feel at ease and bring Chiyu into the Imperial Palace. However, Yi Yan was also a bit nervous. If my disguise is seen through, I will be dead. Chapter 1342. At night, our whole family will be sitting together for dinner. Yi Yan said in a low voice as he walked in the palace with Chiyu. Is there anyone else? Chiyu asked in a low voice. My dad for moms, my big sister, my younger brothers and sisters, and also my grandma. Originally, my uncle's family would be here as well, but something happened today, and it's not a good thing. You will know about it in the future. Yi Yan didn't want to go into details. This should also be considered as a family scandal, so it's better not to spread it out. This Chiyu is still an outsider, not one of us. Of course, Chiyu knew that Prince Yi had a younger brother, but hearing that there was a scandal, she was also quite curious. Seems like as long as one is a woman, one would have a gossipy heart. However, she was also curious about Yi Yan's brothers and sisters. Prince Ye's son, the situation in your family is indeed a bit complicated. Yi Yan felt a headache. Didn't we agree on how to address each other? Brother Yan, I'm sorry, I'm not used to it. Chiyu said softly, sounding very pleasant. Yi Yan liked this kind of tone, nice to hear, gentle enough. 100 times gentler than his mother's tone. It's really nice to hear you speak with this kind of tone. As a standard scumbag, Yi Yan naturally knew how to coax a girl. However, Chiyu was a child that was a few hundred years old, and had a lot of experience. It wasn't like she hadn't seen this kind of scumbag before. Men are all the type that talk glibly, especially those like Yi Yan. They are very unreliable. What kind of tone I use when I speak will depend on what kind of attitude you have. Alright, take it that I didn't say anything. However, can you take off your veil now? Do you want to run in front of my parents like this? Yi Yan was actually very curious about Chiyu's appearance. His aunt said that she was a super beauty, but he didn't know if it was true or not. The custom of my hometown is like this. Girls that are not married cannot take off their veil. Chiyu didn't lie to Yi Yan. This was a custom that couldn't be violated. Then you can't be eating like this too, right? Later on, my parents will definitely ask you to take off your veil, Yi Yan said seriously. After speaking for a while, he continued. If you don't take off your veil, my parents will think that you are not giving them face, and the situation will be even worse. I'll decide based on the situation, Chiyu said helplessly. It doesn't depend on the situation. It has to be. I'm not joking with you. My family isn't as simple as you think, especially when it comes to the marriage of our generation. Yi Yan emphasized again and again. Don't pretend. Don't pretend and cause trouble. Chiyu nodded. I understand. All right, let's go. Yi Yan stretched out his hand and held onto Chiyu's small hand. It feels not bad. Chiyu's small hand is soft, and it feels very comfortable to hold on to. Chiyu frowned but didn't say anything in the end. In order to see the legendary Yi family, the price she paid was quite big. Soon, the two of them arrived at Lu Jing's chamber. Chiyu could vaguely see the figures inside, and they were all sitting together. Yi Yan was a little nervous. After all, this was a fake. It would be a little difficult to fool his parents. He hoped that nothing would go wrong tonight. Chiyu, hold on. Your palms are sweating. Yi Yan, this Chiyu sure knows how to adjust the atmosphere. Yi Yan became a little more relaxed as he held onto Chiyu's hand and walked into the main hall. Right now, Yihua's entire family was sitting together. The atmosphere didn't seem to be very good, and no one spoke. Seeing this atmosphere, Yi Yan felt a chill. If I were to be exposed, the situation would become even more depressing. Yi Yan tightened his grip on Chiyu's small hand, seemingly trying to cheer for Chiyu. However, Chiyu was currently even calmer than Yi Yan. To Chiyu, when she saw the legendary Lord Yi and such a large family, her heart surged. Ever since she heard about Yi family, she became incomparably curious. Just what kind of person was able to overthrow the rule of a deity? Look at Lord Yi, that domineering aura between his brows. That is the aura of a ruler that he was born with. Also the woman beside him. She truly made me feel inferior. This will be my future goal. Grandma, Dad, Mothers, I'm back. Yi Yan stood at the entrance and shouted out respectfully. Chiyu, who was at the side, immediately became nervous, because everyone was looking at her. Even Dong Huangli was very surprised. This Yan. Where did he find such an actress in less than a day's time? Furthermore, he even appeared with a veil on. Doesn't he know that this is disrespectful? Idiot. Are you trying to make Dad happy? Or are you trying to make Dad unhappy? Who dares to wear a veil in front of Dad? Yi Lu was the same. Where did Big Brother find such an actress? Who dares to wear a veil in front of Dad? Yi Lu was the same as well. Where did Big Brother find such an actress? It can't be that he bought her with money, right? If Mom were to find out about this, wouldn't she spank your butt? God, Yi looked at Big Brother and was very puzzled. How did he suddenly get a girlfriend? Did he hide it so deeply? Lu Xian's thoughts were different. Finally, there is someone that I can communicate with. Lu Jing was of course very happy when she saw this. She couldn't wait to have a house full of children and grandchildren. Although I can't see her face, just by standing there, I can feel a kind of gentleness and even a kind of amiable and approachable feeling. This kind of girl is indeed not bad. From the looks of it, her family background should be pretty good. I wonder how does she look like? Yihua looked at Chiyu. So this is my younger sister's matchmaking. The girl looks not bad, but wearing a veil, it seems like she is not giving me face at all. As a junior, seeing that an elder is still wearing a veil, Yihua would naturally be a bit unhappy. Yi Yan seemed to be able to sense his father's unhappiness. I knew that this veil shouldn't be worn, you just didn't listen to me, stupid woman. Dad, Mom, this is my girlfriend, Chiyu. Previously, I was embarrassed to bring her back, but today I finally brought her back. Don't misunderstand. There is a rule in Chiyu's hometown. This unmarried girl cannot take off her veil. Yi Yan hurriedly explained. I can't let Dad and Mom be unhappy. I was already unhappy to begin with. If I make things worse, that would not be good. Hearing that, Yihua asked faintly, Unmarried girl? Cannot take off her veil? In that case, even you have never seen her before? Yi Yan was immediately speechless. Dad attacked so quickly, so ferocious. Thus, Yi Yan directly touched Chuyu's palm. Who asked you to act cool? Look at what happened now. At this moment, Chuyu said respectfully, Prince Yi, Chuyu has been rude. However, this is the rule of my hometown. Chuyu has no choice. Brother Yen and I are truly in love with each other. This is a heart-to-heart communication. Yihua knew about the inside story. Towards Chuyu's reply, he was rather satisfied. However, you two little things, you are actually faking it in such a dignified way. Chapter 1343. You guys are really not putting me, your father, in your eyes? Then I can only let you guys give birth to a child to apologize to me. Yi Yan was startled. Or are you trying to bluff? Heart-to-heart communication, so you didn't even blink when lying. Yen, or you two have never even seen Chuyu's face before? Qingye asked in shock. This is too exaggerated. Could it be that this is true love? Dong Huangli almost laughed out. Can the two of you be a bit more serious? At least check your statements before coming here. Looking at the situation, it seems like both of you didn't check your statements properly. Towards his mother's question and answer, Yi Yan could only brace himself and say, Mom, Yen, or do I look like the kind of man who would judge a book by its cover? I like Chuyu's inner beauty. Puchi, Yi Lu couldn't hold it in anymore and laughed out. Liking other people's inner beauty, Yi Yan glared at his sister. If not for you, would your brother have done such a thing? I even begged her to pretend to be Chuyu. What a loss. Luer. Qingye called out in a low voice. Sorry, Mom, Luer forgot myself. Yi Lu hurriedly apologized. Under normal circumstances, I, Yi Lu, wouldn't laugh unless I couldn't hold it in anymore. Dong Huang Baiji laughed. Come and sit down first, Chuyu. Don't be restrained since Yener brought you into the house. From now on, we are a family. Yi Yan let out a sigh of relief and pulled Chuyu to sit down first. This can be considered as passing the first test at this moment. Lu Jing asked kindly, Yener, how did you two get to know each other? We. Before Yi Yan finished speaking, Yihua asked faintly, Lu, do you know that your brother is looking for a girlfriend? Yi Yan thought to himself, this is bad, Lu, if you were to trick me today, even if I become a ghost, I won't let you off. Yi Lu's heart sunk. His mind was frantically trying to pretend that he understood. Right now, Yi Lu's IQ was increasing at a rocket speed. The truth proved that, when a person is lying, their IQ is like Einstein. I don't know. Yi Lu said lightly and gave a very good answer. Yi Yan let out a sigh of relief. Luckily, I didn't trick my brother. Yihua asked, Tell me, how did you hide it? Yi Yan prepared to tell her. Yener, I'm not asking you to say it. I'm asking your wife to say it. Yihua said faintly. He was already referring to Chuyu as his son's wife. This made Chuyu a little embarrassed, but she still followed the plan. That was 2 years ago. Back then, Brother Yin was training. At that time, I met a few bad guys. Fortunately, Brother Yin appeared in time. Otherwise, the consequences would have been unimaginable. After hearing that, Yihua let out a sigh in his heart. Can't the two of you come up with an interesting meeting scene? This kind of melodramatic plot, your old man, I have long stopped using it. Yi Yan added. At first, I didn't have any feelings for Chuyu. Me too, Chuyu immediately said, as if she was a little angry. However, this made Qingye and the others feel that these two people are a bit interesting. From the looks of it, these two people are the kind of people who like to quarrel. When Yi Yan heard Chuyu actually refuting him, he immediately secretly tugged at Chuyu's clothes. What do you mean? You're being too unreasonable at this time. But Chuyu must repay me with her body. You were the one who chased me relentlessly. Everyone. Just how many versions are there? Dong Huangli turned her face away. Are you two joking around? However, in Yihua's eyes, this plot was actually not bad. There was a bit of a twist in the plot. Continue. Who's chasing who? Him. Her. From the looks of it, these two people are really at loggerheads with each other. and everything that was agreed upon previously is thrown to the back of their minds. Looking at her son and future daughter-in-law, Chinya had a smile on her face, and her mood immediately became much better. All right, Yenner, you have to treat girls better. Don't be calculative with girls all the time. Don't be like your father, Chinya said tenderly, and conveniently, even Yihua was being talked about. Yihua said faintly, "What about me? Back then, weren't you the one who chased me? If it wasn't for Yen, would I be able to look for you? If you have the ability, then don't look for me." Everyone had a stupefied look on their face. As they spoke, Yihua and Chinya actually started scolding each other. Seeing that his parents actually started scolding each other, Yi Yen felt extremely anxious in his heart. From the looks of it, the more they quarrel, the fiercer they will become. I was still thinking of bringing my girlfriend back to ease the tension. I can only change the topic. Change what topic? What topic? This is what we are interested in. Dead mom. Actually, I brought Chiyu back today. It's because Chiyu has a child. Yihua and Chinya immediately stopped what they were doing, then looked at Yi Yen and Chiyu with a face full of astonishment. Not only Yihua and Chinya, everyone else was the same. Their jaws were about to drop onto the table. Dong Huangli was astonished in her heart. Bro, this nonsense of yours is too much. Let's see when you are going to give birth to a child. Chiyu was also incomparably astonished. There was no such thing in the plan. After hearing that, Lu Jing became extremely happy, and her expression immediately became better. You are pregnant? That's great. Yenner is really not bad. Yihua didn't even bother to quarrel with Chinya anymore. On the other hand, I am curious, how are you planning to give birth to a child? Yenner? Chinya's expression immediately changed. Really? You aren't lying to mom? At this moment, Yen regretted. Why did I say that I am pregnant? It's true. Yen was helpless. I am the one who is faking it. Even if I die, I have to finish faking it. Wow, when did this happen? Qin Yutong asked curiously. However, the question was directed towards Chiyu. Chiyu didn't know what to say anymore. This shameless Yi Yan. He is definitely taking revenge on me. However, what else can I do right now? This is just like that saying, a small lie. In the end, I have to use even more lies to cover it up. It has already been a month, Chiyu said with a bashful tone. That's why I directly brought her back. Yi Yan added. After hearing that, Yihua nodded his head. Not bad, she is pregnant. Shinner, you two have to work hard as well. God Yi went into a daze for a moment, then hurriedly said, Daddy Siener and I are currently working hard. Lu Xian, pinched God Yi ferociously under the table. What work hard? You liar, you tricked me into your house, then took possession of me. Yihua's child is born with the attribute of possessiveness. Donghuang Baiji looked at her son and seemed to be saying, Look at your brother, he only brought her home after getting pregnant, you should do the same. Chinya said tenderly, Chiyu, since the two of you have already developed to such a stage, can you take off this veil and let everyone take a look at you? Chiyu had already said it to this extent, what else could Chiyu do? Chiyu could be seen slowly raising her hand and taking off the veil. Everyone was curious about what Yi Yan's girlfriend looked like. Even Yi Yan himself was curious. Chapter 1344. When Yihua saw Chiyu's appearance, he was dumbfounded. Lu Jing was also dumbfounded. Chinya and the others were also dumbfounded. Daji, who was standing at the side, was also dumbfounded. Only the children were amazed. Just that, the exclamations from both sides were different. The children were exclaiming over Chiyu's looks. She is indeed very beautiful. However, what made Yihua and the others exclaim in surprise was that Chiyu's appearance was too similar to a person's, to the extent that it felt as if Chiyu was standing right in front of their eyes, and they could even meet that person's gaze. Chiyu seemed very gentle, but there was a bit of redness on her face, seeming to be a bit shy. Daji couldn't help but shout. That's right. Chiyu's appearance was very similar to Yi's, with a 99% similarity. As for the 1% difference, it was probably just that her hair was slightly longer, and she didn't look like she was trembling with fear. After all, when Yi was in the palace at that time, She was always nervous and panicky. Chuyu was nervous now, but of course, she was more embarrassed. When the children heard the words Yi, they were all very unfamiliar. After all, no one had told them about Yi's story, so they were very confused. Yihua was indeed very surprised. I didn't expect that I would actually be able to see someone who looks so similar to Yi. And furthermore, this person even came to my house. Was this deliberately arranged by the heavens? Qian Yuqing looked at Chuyu and immediately thought of Yi's situation at that time. It was a really sad process. Donghuang Baiji came back to her senses and asked earnestly, Chuyu, how old are you right now? Auntie, I'm 119 years old now. Chuyu lowered her head slightly and said shyly. It was really embarrassing to say out a girl's age. She was still too young. Puff. Yian almost puked out a mouthful of blood. Such a beautiful girl, and she is actually so old. Just how old am I? I am not even 20 years old yet. She was actually 119 years old. Oh my God. This is just an old woman, but her appearance is really good looking, especially that pair of eyes. With a single look, it's very hard to forget. No wonder he became a masked man. He did have some real skills. Upon hearing Chuyu's age, Qingya immediately denied the idea of reincarnation. Yi had died 12 years ago, and Chuyu had already existed for a long time. It was very normal for there to be people who looked alike in this world. Lu Jing kindly smiled and said, She's still a little girl. She's really a good match for Yan. When Yi Yan heard his grandmother's words, his jaw almost dropped onto the table. Grandmother, 119 years old, can this still be considered as a little girl? She was old enough to be his grandmother. However, for a person who could easily live for tens of thousands of years, a person who was over 100 years old was indeed no different from a child. She was even a minor. Qian Yuqing curiously asked, Chuyu, what do your parents do? Do you have any brothers or sisters? Chuyu said honestly, Auntie, I have 5 older brothers, 6 older sisters, 8 younger brothers and 10 younger sisters. My father is the ruler of a country, and my mother is the mother of a country. Yihua knew about Chuyu's background, so he wasn't too surprised. On the other hand, the others were a little surprised. This Chuyu was actually a princess. No wonder she had such a good recuperation. However, they also dispelled a question, which was that Yi didn't die, but had lost her memory. After all, he had so many brothers and sisters, so it was unlikely that he would lose his memory. But for the sake of safety, he still had to investigate it. He didn't want to make the matter more problematic. Qingya and Donghuang Baiji looked towards Yihua. Their meaning was very clear. They still had to investigate Chuyu's background. Yihua also knew about it. He immediately sent a voice transmission to Wei Chang, and told Wei Chang to investigate Chuyu from the moment she was born. Chuyu could clearly sense that everyone was behaving strangely. Could it be that there was a problem with my appearance? To actually be so surprised. The children were also very confused. Could it be that something else happened during this period of time? Suddenly, Dong Huangli recalled that Daji had called out to Yi just now. It was clear that Daji had seen Chuyu's appearance. Also, Uncle seemed to have mentioned Yi on the street today, and that's why he got so angry. Could it be that this Yi is related to Uncle? What the hell? Why does Dong Huangli feel that Yi Yan brought a troublesome person home? At this moment, Blood Demon carried the dishes onto the table. This was the first time that Chuyu had tasted such dishes. She really wanted to eat more, but she felt embarrassed, because doing so would make her seem like she wasn't reserved enough. Yihua took a look at Lu Xiener, who was at the side, who was about the same age as her. Gadi had been helping Lu Xiener to pick up the dishes, and Lu Xiener was eating so happily. Yihua then took a look at the one at the side who only cares about eating by herself. Can't you pick up some dishes for me? Are you a blockhead? Do you really need me to call you before you eat? Seems like the temptation that girls have towards delicacies is very high. Therefore, under the table, Chuyu ruthlessly pinched Yi Yan. Ouch, why did you pinch me? Yi Yan immediately jumped up. After jumping up, he felt that something was wrong. This doesn't seem to be a reaction that one should have towards a girlfriend. With a smile on her face, Qingya shook her head. These two children are quite interesting, and their relationship seems to be quite good. Seeing that Yi Yan had such a big reaction, Chiyu's face became even redder. This Yi Yan. He definitely did this on purpose to make me look bad. You said that you will take care of me and the child, and all you know is to eat by yourself. Chiyu immediately launched a counterattack. Since Piamiao's child has already been brought out, then I will properly bring out the child. Child? Just what did I do wrong? I am not even an egg yet, and you are already starting to use me to make a fuss. Are there any parents like you too? Qinya felt a headache coming on. I nearly forgot that Chiyu is the flesh and blood of a son. Yen, you are also someone who is going to be a father. No matter what, you have to learn to take care of people. Don't be impatient. Get rid of your previous bad habits. Yi Yan stuttered for a while, but still couldn't think of anything to refute. It is all my fault. Why did I have to say that I am pregnant? Great, if I didn't treat her well, I would have said that. Don't think that just because you are beautiful, you can do whatever you want. Yi Yan will fall for this. What do you want to eat? Yi Yan said petulantly. After hearing that, Qinya became unhappy. Why is this tone of yours the same as that scoundrel father of yours? My son cannot become the second Yi Hua. Yin, is this your attitude? Yi Yan, Mom, what other attitude can I have? This is a fake. The person is fake. The child is also fake. Auntie, it's fine. I am already used to it. What a ruthless woman. I, Yi Yan, have finally experienced it today. I regret. I shouldn't have brought you home. Right now, I have shot myself in the foot. Chiyu, call me Mom. In the future, Mom will take care of you. If this fellow dares to bully you, Mom will break his leg. Yi Yan was stupefied. This brat is already calling me Mom, and she still wants to take care of me. Chapter 1346. Following Yi Hua's words, the entire world seemed to have quietened down. Although Yi Hua was angry, he didn't say those words out of anger. Instead, it seemed to be the result that he came up with after careful consideration. However, it wasn't the result after consideration. Nobody knew whether those words were said out of anger or something else. But no matter what it was, it still shocked everyone. Thinking about it was one thing, but if his honor were to really say it out loud, the effect would be different. The subordinates that were outside didn't say anything. For things to develop to this point, it was completely what the two madams wanted. There was nothing to persuade them. His honor wasn't that easy to talk to. The children in the house were all shocked. After being away for 12 years, this is the second day. Their parents were about to separate. They couldn't accept such a thing at all. Now they didn't know what to say at all. Qin Yutong and Qian Yuqing were very shocked, but they also knew in their hearts that this was the result of forcing Yi Hua to do something. Qingya and Donghuang Baiji didn't expect that Yi Hua would really say it out loud. In actuality, this was not the result that they wanted. They only wanted to listen to Yi Hua's explanation and receive the concern of a husband. That's all. However, they had neglected an important question. And that was, concern should be mutual. Why should it only be the man who is concerned? As a woman, if she couldn't even care about her husband, what qualifications did she have to ask her husband to do something? At the very least, this was what Yi Hua was thinking in his heart. In the past, I accommodated you all and allowed you all to have a little temper. However, this kind of temper is not something that can be endured for a long time. For this woman, you actually want to abandon us. Qinya pointed at the woman at the side and said gravely while looking at Yi Hua. This was the ability of women to twist the truth. She clearly didn't care about other people's affairs, but she could still drag them into it. This was the scariest part about women. They were unreasonable. But reasoning with a woman is also a mistake. Yi Hua didn't want to talk about these useless things with them at all. Since we have already come to a decision, then let's part on good terms. Following Yi Hua's words, Qinya and Donghuang Baiqi revealed a kind of expression in their eyes. This kind of expression was filled with indignation, and even more so, fear. However, at this moment, the door was pushed open again. Daji supported Lu Jing and slowly walked in. When Yi Hua saw that his mother had arrived, he called out lightly, "Mother." Lu Jing nodded and looked at the situation. She had just said it last night, but she didn't expect it to still blow up. It was even to the extent that the whole city knew about it. Mother. Qin Yutong and Qian Yuqing called out lightly. Grandma. The four children also called out. Qin Ye and Dong Huang Baiji stared at Yi Hua, as if they wanted to rub Yi Hua's face, make him reorganize his words and say it again. If there's anything, we'll talk about it when we get home. Qin Ye Baiji, as the empress, pay attention to your appearance. Don't let others see us as a joke. Lu Jing actually knew that it wasn't their fault, but it was wrong of them to come out and cause trouble today. This had already reached the level of a shrew. Qin Ye looked at Lu Jing, and tears immediately flowed down from her eyes. Mother, look at Yi Hua, he didn't come back for an entire night and was fooling around with this woman. Even after we saw him, he still doesn't want to admit it. Qin Ye, that's enough. Which one of your eyes saw that I did something to her? Upon hearing what Qin Ye said, Yi Hua immediately became angry. Damn it, this is making something out of nothing. Just like before, stupid woman. Lu Jing took a look at the woman on the ground. To be honest, the woman is quite pretty, but my son definitely won't fall for her. Qin Ye and Dong Huang Baiji just wanted to use this matter to cause trouble with Yi Hua and let out all of the resentment that they had accumulated over the years. Enough. All of you, stop talking. Are you two trying to anger me to death? Lu Jing rarely got angry, and from the time Yi Hua met his mother had never gotten angry at him. However, today his mother got angry, and it wasn't a small one. Yi Hua looked at his mother and slightly lowered his head, expressing that he didn't mean it that way. It was all because of these two women. In the past, I would still think that I would be able to teach them well, but from the looks of it now, I am completely unable to teach them well. Qin Ye and Dong Huang Baiji hurriedly lowered their heads and said, Mother, we didn't mean it that way. That's good, since you two don't want to anger me to death, then go back and quarrel with me. Go back and scold me. You two can do whatever you want, but don't lose face outside. Lu Jing shouted out gravely, then turned around and left. Daji took a look at her master, then silently left with Lu Jing. This time, Lu Jing didn't side with anyone, because it wasn't good to side with anyone. Thus he might as well scold both sides together. Yi Hua snorted coldly, then immediately disappeared from the spot. Looking at Yi Hua disappearing without saying a word, Qin Ye and Dong Huang Baiji immediately started bawling out loud. That grievance, that pain. Yi Hua, you are a scoundrel. How can you say such a thing? Dong Huang Baiji hammered the floor and shouted out. What did I do wrong? In the past, I was obedient to you, and you can play with me however you want. But now you are ignoring me, and you even said such a thing. Dong Huang Baiji felt terrible to the max. Qin Ye felt the same as well. Her heart felt as if it was about to be torn apart. Seeing that their mother was crying out loud without caring about her image, the children walked forward and consoled their mother. Although their mouths were saying words of consolation, in their hearts they were thinking, isn't this all because of you two? We can clearly be happy together, but mother, you two insist on increasing the difficulty. Soon after, His Honor's subordinates left as well. I wonder what His Honor is thinking. However, looking at His Honor's attitude just now, he doesn't seem to be that ruthless. His Honor's mother is still the formidable one, to be able to settle everything with just a sentence or two. Although His Honor's words weren't ruthless, this time, it was His Honor's wife's turn. If His Honor's wife is willing to lower her head, then things would be easy to settle. If His Honor's wife is still not willing to lower her head and still wants to argue with His Honor, then there would really be no hope left. Qin Ye and Dong Huang Baiji cried for a very long time, then left with the children. Using Dong Huang Li's words, right now, father and mother both need to calm down, and for the time being, they shouldn't meet each other, lest they start scolding each other the moment they see each other. Sigh, I really didn't expect that big brother and big sister-in-law would actually quarrel to this extent. Yi Juetian didn't return back to the palace in a hurry, and he brought along Gong Yu and walked around the city. Gong Yu hugged onto Yi Juetian's arm very tightly. Big brother and big sister-in-law's relationship was indeed very good in the past, but as time passes, no matter how strong the relationship is, it will eventually fade. Yi Juetian went into a daze, and Yi couldn't help but appear in his mind. From start to finish, my feelings towards Yi have never faded, even after so many years have passed. As for Gong Yu, who is beside me right now, perhaps it's only because of our children, that's why we are together. Yi Juetian didn't know anymore, and right now his mind was in a bit of a mess. Chapter 1347. Gong Yu also realized that she had said the wrong thing. However, seeing the struggle in Yi Juetian's eyes, Gong Yu felt very uncomfortable in her heart. Although Yi was already dead, she was still stuck between Yi Juetian and her, and would always be there. Gong Yu really wanted to tell Yi Juetian right now that Yi was already dead. That girl in your heart is already dead. Forget about her. Can't you just cherish the person in front of you? After all, in the following years, the two of us will be living together. Can't you share a bit of love with me? Even if it's just a little bit? Although the two of them were walking on the street together, the two of their hearts seemed to be not the same. Perhaps it was because of the child that they were tied down, that's why it was like this. If they didn't have a child, perhaps Yi Juetian would still treat each other with respect. In the end, Gong Yu was also a pitiful woman. Meng Li, as Meng Yao's cousin, had been living in Wushu Empire all these years, and her life seemed to have changed completely. She got married, and even had her own child, and the sorrow in the past seemed to have disappeared along with the passing of time. Right now, Meng Li was also walking on the street with her husband and a 7-year-old daughter beside her. The family of 3 was very happy. However, Meng Li suddenly saw a figure and went into a slight daze. The emperor left the palace? No, this isn't the emperor. Although he looks similar, there is a scar on his face, and his right sleeve is also empty. Could this be the emperor's younger brother? Who is that woman beside him? The two of them are actually so intimate. The sorrowful memories that had originally disappeared immediately surged into her heart. If I didn't guess wrongly, this man is the man that Meng Yao likes. However, look at the current situation. There is a beautiful woman beside him, but Meng Yao. A surge of anger instantly exploded in Meng Li's mind. Meng Li, what happened to you? Her husband, who was beside her, sensed Meng Li's change, and asked concernedly. The child looked at his mother with a very puzzled gaze. However, Meng Li, who was burning with anger, directly walked towards Yi Juetian. Yi Juetian seemed to have felt a surge of anger pressing towards him. Looking at the unfamiliar woman who was walking over, his expression was a little puzzled. However, there seemed to be a very familiar feeling between the woman's brows. Suddenly, a wave of killing intent spread out as a sword condensed in Meng Li's hand, and it pierced towards Yi Juetian's forehead with an aura of death. In her fury, Meng Li had actually broken through. Everyone around was dumbfounded. This was the emperor's younger brother, yet he was ambushed on the street. As Meng Li's husband, he was currently dumbfounded on the spot, not knowing why his wife suddenly became like this. Could it be that his wife is a spy? Waiting for this moment. Gong Yu didn't react at all, but that didn't mean that Yi Juetian didn't react. After all, he had trained outside for so long, and this kind of killing intent was already a common thing. Facing such a situation, Yi Juetian stood still and did not move, because there was no need for him to move. He would be able to block the attack with just his aura. The tip of the sword seemed to pierce through the air, emitting an ear-piercing sword cry. The thunder is loud but the rain is small. This was the portrayal of the current situation. The tip of the sword was still a fist's length away from Yi Juetian's forehead when it stopped moving. It was completely blocked by a vicious aura. Who are you? Why do you want to kill me? Yi Juetian asked curiously. To be able to remain calm in the face of such an assassination meant that Yi Juetian had indeed matured. You heartless man. I will take revenge for Meng Yao today. Everyone was dumbfounded by Meng Li's words. Heartbreaker? The emperor's younger brother was a heartless man? Who was that Meng Yao? From the looks of it, the royal family was really in a mess. Just a moment ago, the royal family was still in martial law. Presumably, something happened to the emperor. Right now, the emperor's own younger brother actually became a heartless person. This is clearly messing around. If not, why would other people raise their swords and charge at the royal family with no regard for their lives, seemingly wanting to perish together with the royal family? Gong Yu rarely left the palace, and even to the extent that Gong Yu didn't know Meng Li, but after hearing Meng Li's words, Gong Yu knew that this woman's concern for Yi wasn't shallow. It's over. Absolute heaven is going to know about it. I didn't expect that on the second day after I returned, Ju Tian would find out about it. I thought that I would be able to hide it from Ju Tian for a few years, and by then, Ju Tian would have forgotten about it. At this moment, Yi Juetian was frozen stiff. That single sentence had revealed too much information. Mengyao? Wasn't it just Yi? To avenge Mengyao, kill a heartless man like him? In order to avenge Yi? Yi Juetian's eyes instantly turned red, and killing intent uncontrollably emitted out from his body. A huge sea of blood seemed to have appeared behind him, and the long sword in Meng Li's hand instantly turned into dust. Speak. What? What happened to Yi? Yi Juetian grabbed onto Meng Li's wrist and questioned coldly. An overflowing anger was swelling up in his heart, and it seemed like it would explode at any moment. You still have the face to ask. Mengyao is already dead. She had already died 12 years ago. These words were just like a bolt from the blue, seemingly wanting to strike Yi Juetian down. Yi is dead? How is that possible? Yi is so strong. How is it possible for her to die? I am still waiting for Yi to call out to me. I have been waiting all this while. 12 years ago? That is something that happened right after I left the palace. Impossible. This is definitely impossible. You lied to me. Yi won't die. Yi Juetian seemed as if he had gone mad. His face was already distorted to the extreme. He was grabbing onto Meng Li's wrist until it turned white, and his gaze was filled with killing intent. It was as if he was saying, if you don't make things clear today, don't even think about seeing tomorrow's sun. Meng Li looked at Yi Juetian coldly. I really feel that it's not worth it to mention Meng Li. There's only such a man, and you are actually thinking about him. Looking at Meng Li's gaze, Yi Juetian's expression became even darker. He turned his head and looked towards Gong Yu. She lied to me, right? Gong Yu originally planned to hide it, but after seeing Yi Juetian's current state, her heart felt very painful. She directly said, she didn't lie to you. Not long after you left, Yi died. You knew? Yi Juetian asked in disbelief, and his entire body seemed as if it was going to collapse. Back then, Yi had already died once, and it was right in front of his eyes. Luckily, Yi was only out for training, and she didn't really die. However, today, it was different. That's right, I know. Jutian. Yi has already died for many years. Gong Yu didn't want to hide it anymore. It was fine if Ju Tian didn't come back, but ever since he came back yesterday, this question had been lingering in her heart, making her feel very uncomfortable. Yi Juetian slowly let go of Meng Li, then pressed onto Gong Yu's shoulders with his hands. Why? Why didn't you tell me yesterday? You are still the same as before. There isn't a single bit of change in you. Chapter 1355. At night, our whole family will be sitting together for dinner. Yi Yan said in a low voice as he walked in the palace with Chuyu. Is there anyone else? Chuyu asked in a low voice. My dad for moms, my big sister, little brothers and sisters, and also my grandma. Originally, my uncle's family would be here as well, but something happened today, and it isn't anything good. You will know about it in the future. Yi Yan didn't go into details. This should also be considered as a family scandal, so it's better not to spread it out. This Chuyu is still an outsider, not one of us. Of course, Chuyu knew that Prince Yi had a younger brother, but hearing that there was a scandal, she was also quite curious. Seems like as long as one is a woman, one would have a gossipy heart. However, she was also curious about Yi Yan's brothers and sisters. Prince Ye's son, the situation in your family is indeed a bit complicated. Yi Yan felt a headache. Didn't we agree on how to address each other? Brother Yan, I'm sorry, I'm not used to it. Chuyu said softly, sounding very pleasant. Yi Yan liked this kind of tone, nice to listen to, gentle enough. 100 times gentler than his mother's tone. This kind of tone of yours is really nice to listen to. As a standard scumbag, Yi Yan naturally knew how to coax a girl. However, Chuyu was a child that was a few hundred years old, and had a lot of experience. It wasn't like she hadn't seen this kind of scumbag before. Men were all the type of people that talk nonsense, especially people like Yi Yan. They were very unreliable. What kind of tone I use when I speak will depend on what kind of attitude you have. Alright, take it that I didn't say anything. However, can you take off your veil now? Do you want to run in front of my parents like this? Yi Yan was actually very curious about Chuyu's appearance. His aunt said that she was a super beauty, but he didn't know if it was true or not. The custom of my hometown is like this. Girls that are not married cannot take off their veil. Chuyu didn't lie to Yi Yan. This was a custom that couldn't be violated. Then you can't be eating like this too, right? Later on, my parents will definitely ask you to take off your veil. Yi Yan said seriously. After speaking for a while, he continued. If you don't take off your veil, my parents will think that you are not giving them face, and the situation will be even worse. I'll decide based on the situation, Chuyu said helplessly. It doesn't depend on the situation. It has to be. I'm not joking with you. My family isn't as simple as you think, especially when it comes to the marriage of our generation. Yi Yan emphasized again and again. Don't pretend. Don't pretend and cause trouble. Chuyu nodded. I understand. All right, let's go. Yi Yan stretched out his hand and held onto Chuyu's small hand. It feels not bad. Chuyu's small hand is soft, and it feels very comfortable to hold onto. Chuyu frowned but didn't say anything in the end. In order to see the legendary Yi family, the price she paid was quite big. Soon, the two of them arrived at Lu Jing's chamber. Chuyu could vaguely see the figures inside, and they were all sitting together. Yi Yan was a little nervous. After all, this was a fake. It would be a little difficult to fool his parents. He hoped that nothing would go wrong tonight. Chuyu, hold on. Your palms are sweating. Yi Yan. This Chuyu sure knows how to adjust the atmosphere. Yi Yan became a little more relaxed as he held onto Chuyu's hand and walked into the main hall. Right now, Yihua's entire family was sitting together. The atmosphere didn't seem to be very good, and no one spoke. Seeing this atmosphere, Yi Yan felt a chill. If I were to be exposed, the situation would become even more depressing. Yi Yan tightened his grip on Chuyu's small hand, seemingly trying to cheer for Chuyu. However, Chuyu was currently even calmer than Yi Yan. To Chuyu, when she saw the legendary Lord Yi and such a large family, her heart surged. Ever since she heard about Yi family, she became incomparably curious. Just what kind of person was able to overthrow the rule of a deity? Look at Lord Yi, that domineering aura between his brows, that is the aura of a ruler that he was born with. Also the woman beside him. She truly made me feel inferior. This will be my future goal. Grandma, Dad, Mothers, I'm back. Yi Yan stood at the entrance and shouted out respectfully. Chuyu, who was at the side, immediately became nervous, because everyone was looking at her. Dong Huangli was also very surprised. This Yan, or where did he find such an actress in less than a day's time? Furthermore, he even appeared so mysteriously, wearing a veil. Doesn't he know that this is disrespectful? Idiot. Are you trying to make Dad happy or make Dad unhappy? Who dares to wear a veil in front of Dad? Yi Lu was the same as well. Where did Big Brother find such an actress? It can't be that he bought her with money, right? If Mom were to find out about this, wouldn't she spank your butt? God, Yi looked at Big Brother and was very confused. How did he suddenly get a girlfriend? Did he hide it so deeply? Lu Xian'er's thoughts were different. Finally, there is someone that I can communicate with. Lu Jing was of course very happy when she saw this, and she couldn't wait to have a house full of children and grandchildren. Although I can't see the face of the girl, just by standing there, I can feel a kind of gentle feeling, and even a kind of amiable feeling. This kind of girl is indeed not bad. From the looks of it, her family background should be pretty good. I wonder how does she look like? Yihua looked at Chuyu. Yihua looked at Chuyu. So this is my younger sister's matchmaking? The girl looks not bad, but wearing a veil doesn't seem to be giving me face. As a junior, seeing that an elder is still wearing a veil, Yihua would naturally be a bit unhappy. Yi Yan seemed to be able to sense his father's unhappiness. I knew that this veil shouldn't be worn, but you just didn't listen, stupid woman. That? Dad, Mom, this is my girlfriend, Chuyu. I was embarrassed to bring her back before, But I finally brought her back today. Don't misunderstand. There is a rule in Chuyu's hometown. Unmarried girls cannot remove their veil. Yi Yan hurriedly explained. I can't let Dad and Mom be unhappy. They were already unhappy to begin with. And if things become worse, that would not be good. Hearing that, Yihua asked faintly. Unmarried girl? Cannot remove her veil? Yan-er, in that case even you have never seen her before? Yi Yan was immediately speechless. Dad attacked so quickly. So ferocious. Thus, Yi Yan directly touched Chuyu's palm. Who asked you to act cool? Look at what happened now. At this moment, Chuyu said respectfully, Prince Yi, Chuyu has been rude, but this is the rule of my hometown. Chuyu can't do anything about it. Brother Yan and I are truly in love with each other, and this is a heart-to-heart communication. Yi Hua knew the inside story, and towards Chuyu's reply, he was rather satisfied. However, you two little things, you are actually faking it in such a dignified manner. Chapter 1358. Mom, I am your biological son. I am not that kind of son that is given to you as a gift. Mom, I didn't bully her, she was just pretending. Chuyu slightly lowered her head. I didn't dare. I was afraid that he would hit me. Yihua wanted to praise Chuyu. This girl is not bad. This plot is not bad. This is a bit interesting. What? Yi Yan, how can you hit your wife? Other people even gave birth to your child, but your father didn't even do this to you. Yihua's expression sunk. Does this count as me being unjustly implicated? Mom, I didn't hit her. I really didn't hit her. Yi Yan hurriedly explained. This old woman, just you wait for me, young Master Yi. Chuyu revealed out that kind of expression of daring to say, but also not daring to say, she is simply a drama queen. As expected, in Yi family, acting is an essential skill. However, right now, Yi Yan was completely speechless. Why is your expression so rich? If I had known earlier, I wouldn't have brought her home even if I was beaten to death. Aunt, we have only met for the first time, and you already gave your nephew such a big gift. This is simply a huge trap. Chuyu, if you have anything to say, just say it. I want to see how bad this little bastard is. Mom, my God, this feeling is so good that it's going to explode. Donghuang Baiji was envious. My daughter-in-law hasn't even called me mom yet. Lu Xianer felt a bit dizzy. My God. Just what should I do? God, Yi is the same. Big brother is completely stirring up trouble. Donghuang Li was about to roll over from laughing in her heart. This matter is becoming more and more interesting. Good child, Mom will stand up for you. Hey, I don't dare. I'm afraid that he will bully me. Yi Yan really wants to bully Chuyu right now. Didn't I just say a few words at my aunt's place? And she is repaying kindness with enmity? Can't she be reasonable? I have even forgotten about it. How can I be reasonable with a woman? Chuyu. Yi Yan gave a serious warning. Don't go overboard. Yi Yan. You sit down. Qingye shouted out gravely. This is too outrageous, to actually shout at a pregnant woman. You are just like your father. Back then, didn't you shout at me like this too? At that time, I was also pregnant. The more I think about it, the angrier I get. Seeing that his mother was really angry, Yi Yan immediately stopped talking. A good hand had turned into a bad hand. Chuyu seemed to have felt it as well, and immediately stopped talking. However, in Qingye's eyes, Chuyu seemed to be very scared. She is simply like a girl who is being abused at home. She is truly pitiful. She is even more formidable than your father. Speak, Chuyu. Mom, it's nothing. It's really nothing. I'm just talking nonsense. Following Chuyu's explanation, Yi Yan directly covered his forehead. You really want to King kill me? Look at your expression. Qingye asked gravely. Could it be that he is looking for a girl outside? I've made you angry. He's still looking for girls outside. Chuyu exclaimed. Alright, everyone was speechless. This mother was really good at tricking her son. Poor Yi Yan, what a tragedy. Donghuang Li really wanted to leave the auditorium. She wanted to laugh loudly outside for 5 minutes before coming back in. A smile could be seen on the corner of Yi Hua's mouth. This Qingye, how can you screw your son over like this? Qingye seemed to have realized it as well, and she felt a bit awkward. The atmosphere seemed to have quietened down. Yi Yan hurriedly picked up some food and passed it to Chiyu. My mother is just talking nonsense, be good, don't be angry. Chiyu turned her head away and ignored Yi Yan. She is simply a movie empress level expert. Even Qing Yutong admires her. Yi Yan secretly pulled Chiyu, meaning that it's enough. Give me a way out of this embarrassing situation. Chiyu naturally knew that it was enough, and she silently picked up her chopsticks. This made everyone let out a sigh of relief. This is much better. Chiyu, eat more, don't be polite. Okay, Mom. Chiyu said tenderly, causing Qingye to be very happy. This caused Donghuang Baiji to directly look towards her son, seemingly saying, let your wife call me Mom too. What is God Yi trying to do? Lu Xiener had no other choice. I have already boarded the pirate ship. Is there still a chance for me to get off? That is impossible. That is why I have to please my mother-in-law. Mom, eat. Lu Xiener took the initiative to pick up some food and passed it to Donghuang Baiji, and even called out sweetly, causing Donghuang Baiji to be extremely happy. Good child, you eat more too. What else could Chiyu do? Since others have already done it, although I am pretending, I still have to do it properly. Thus, Chiyu also picked up some food and passed it to Qingye. Mom, you eat more too. Alright, you are both good children. Qingye smiled to the point that even her gums were revealed. Yihua shook his head. You two are too exaggerated. But then again, only calling me Mom and not Dad? That means that you are not giving me face. Aren't you afraid that I, the Supreme Overlord, will make things difficult for you too? Dad, you eat more too. Yihua was gratified that the two girls who had never married into his family started to curry favor with him. Of course, there was also Lu Jing. Lu Jing was grinning from ear to ear. The day of having many children and grandchildren is just around the corner. The meal was very harmonious, and Yi Yan's goal was also achieved. Yi Yan felt much more at ease. Father and mother no longer quarreled, and their relationship seemed to have stabilized. Yihua placed down his chopsticks and said faintly, Chiyu, since you are pregnant, take good care of the fetus in the future. One of my subordinates' medical skills is not bad. Let him take a look and prescribe some medicine for you. Yi Yan and Chiyu immediately froze. If this lie is discovered, father will definitely fly into a rage. Not only father, mother will also feel the same way. Just that, the two children still did not know about their father's tricks, and were currently frantically thinking about how they are going to get away from this. Dad, the child is very stable right now. It is fine to take a look at the child after a period of time. Chiyu could only stall for time. I never expected that the matter would come to this. Yi Yan hurriedly followed up and said, Dad, what Chiyu said is right. The child is still very healthy right now. No matter how healthy a child is, they still need to take a look at the child. This will allow your mother and I to be at ease. Yihua's words seemed to be correct, causing Yi Yan to have an even bigger headache. Suddenly, Yi Yan looked towards his big sister. Dad, big sister's medical skills are not bad, and big sister is also a girl. It will be more convenient for her to take a look at the child. Big sister, I'm sorry. Since you dug a pit for little brother can only dig a pit for you. However, you must definitely help little brother. If not, Daddy will beat the sh*t out of you. Qingye is definitely the same. It seems a bit inconvenient to let Qingsu go and take a look at the child. Just let Ali go and take a look at Chiyu. Donghuang Baiji smiled tenderly. Donghuang Li nodded her head. All right, I understand. After eating, I will go and take a look at the child, then tell father and mother about it. Yihua said in a low voice. All right, I am already full. You two can slowly eat. Following Yihua's decision, Yi Yan said respectfully, Mom, I will bring Chiyu to familiarize herself with the palace first. Big sister, let's take a walk together. Chapter 1359. Donghuang Li let out a light sigh. When you get into trouble, you only know to ask your big sister to clean up after you. Just how old are you now? The three of them walked out of Lu Jing's bedroom. When they thought they were far enough, Yi Yan and Chiyu instantly separated. It's all your fault. It's all your fault. Donghuang Li looked at the two of them. The two of them actually have such a tacit understanding with each other. Donghuang Li feels that the two of them are rather compatible with each other. Look at what you just said. I'm about to be scolded to death by my mother. Yi Yan began to lecture his wife. Everyone, come and see. Aren't you trying to frame me? When did I have a child with you? I think you're up to no good. How did I not have good intentions? If it wasn't for you messing around, would I have said those words? Do you think that I wanted to? Anyway, it's all your fault. Think of a way yourself. Ha! All my fault? Looking at your performance just now, I almost wanted to kneel down and call you Mom, Big Brother. With a pft sound, Dong Huangli, who was standing at the side, started laughing. These two people are simply too funny, much more interesting than my little brother and his wife. Sis, why are you still laughing? If you didn't trick me, would I be like this? Are you here to knock her up? Dong Huangli replied, if big sister was a man, I would be very happy to help you, little brother. Yi Yan, Chiyu. Facing such a female hooligan, Yi Yan and Chiyu were speechless. Yi Yan and Chiyu turned their heads and did not look at each other. This angry look was very much like love. He's not dead? Following a voice, the few of them looked into the darkness. Those two ponytails were really iconic. Yi Zizi looked at Chiyu curiously. Didn't Yi die? Why did it appear again now? Hearing what Yi Zizi said, Dong Huangli and Yi Yan became even more curious about Yi's identity. Just who is Yi? Even Chiyu was very curious. Aunt Zizi, Dong Huangli shouted out sweetly, causing the corner of Yi Zizi's mouth to twitch. As long as Dong Huangli uses this kind of tone to speak to me, something bad will definitely happen. Yi Zizi immediately said, Ali, speak properly. Don't use this tone. Aunt Zizi, can we talk about this girl called Yi? Yi Yan also jumped over and said with a smile, Aunt Zizi, tell us about it. Then who is she? Yi Zizi asked curiously. Yi Yan patted his chest and said, this woman is my woman. 66666. Yi Zizi immediately made a hand gesture to praise Yi. All the men of Yi family. Seems like they all have some thoughts about this Yi. Since you want to know so much, let's talk somewhere else, Yi Zizi said softly. Upon hearing that there was hope, everyone immediately ran out of the imperial palace and arrived at a tea house. This decoration is really not bad. It has the style of sci-fi. Dong Huangli muttered while looking at the decoration. I drove it, Yi Zizi said softly. Dong Huangli and Yi Yan immediately rolled their eyes. So Yi Yan is asking us to support him. We are just children, and we are the kind of children who don't have money. So it was opened by Auntie Zizi. How could I accept it? Sorry for making Auntie Zizi spend so much money. You can treat us, Yi Zizi said with a smile. Yi Yan. They walked into the private room on the second floor, and the tea was soon served. Just like that, the three stared at Yi Zizi and drank tea. Dong Huangli felt that, in the past, Yi Zizi often played games, and drinking tea didn't seem to be Yi Zizi's style. But looking at the current Yi Zizi, the feeling that Yi Zizi is giving people now is just like an adult. Auntie Zizi, just what is going on with that Yi? Yi Zizi took out a lollipop, then stretched it in front of Chiyu. Do you want to eat it? Ah. What is this? Lollipop, you liked to eat it a lot in the past. Yi Zizi said softly. Yi Yan was very speechless. In the past, it was always the uncles who held onto the lollipop, and now, it is the loli who held onto the lollipop. I have never eaten it in the past, Chiyu said confusedly. That's fine, you can try it. Oh, thank you. Chiyu took the lollipop, and it seems like she doesn't know how to peel the lollipop. Yi Yan took the lollipop and peeled off the wrapping paper on the lollipop. Here, eat less of it, your teeth might get cavities. Chiyu placed the lollipop in her mouth and lightly licked it with her tongue. A sweet taste immediately filled her mouth, causing Chiyu to be a bit surprised. Yi Yan wrinkled his brows as he looked at Chuyu's cheeks that were puffing up. You are able to come up with so many tricks to eat a lollipop? I'm afraid that you are crazily licking the lollipop from all directions. You are truly formidable. How is it? Very sweet, very delicious, Chiyu said gently. I don't know what this Auntie Zizi in front of me is trying to do. Seems like it really isn't Yi. It is a bit of a pity. Yi Zizi let out a light sigh. I and Yi are connected by the lollipop. If it is Yi who lost her memory, there would definitely be an abnormal reaction. Chuyu asked curiously, Auntie Zizi, why do you two want Yi to appear so much? That's right, Auntie Zizi, just who is this Yi? I can see that both father and mother seem to be a bit sad and regretful. Yi Zizi said gravely, Sai Yi is also a pitiful woman. Not long after you two left, your father found his biological younger brother. At that time, after settling some matters, your father began to look for a wife for your uncle. Yi Yan clapped his hands. Oh, I got it. Yi is the wife that father found for my uncle. No. Yi Yan. Idiot. Chuyu couldn't help but ridicule, angering Yi Yan to the point that he wanted to hold on to Chuyu and let her know that I am not that easy to bully. Don't think that just because you are pretty, I won't scold you. Chuyu. Don't think that just because you have pretty eyes, I don't dare to glare at you. Humph, the two of you be quiet, don't talk. Dong Huangli said petulantly. If the two of you want to quarrel, go back to your room and quarrel. After finished speaking, Dong Huangli asked curiously, then uncle's blind date is? That's right, in actuality. Your uncle had already met with Yi a few days before the blind date, and both of them seemed to have developed a good impression of each other. And because your uncle was afraid that he would anger your father, he could only go along with Yi's wishes. That's why he chose Gongyu to come over. In the end, Gongyu is actually quite pitiful, mysteriously coming to this unfamiliar place. Then why didn't uncle bring Yi to father? Yi Yan asked curiously. Yi Zizi laughed lightly, then took a sip of tea. They are well matched in terms of social status. Yi is just an ordinary person. Other than being pretty, there is nothing else about her. Meanwhile, Gongyu is someone that was meticulously chosen by your father, and naturally, she meets all of his requirements. Furthermore, before this, it was also your uncle who requested for the blind date. Chapter 1360. The children understood. When uncle didn't have a wife, he asked his father to introduce Yi to him. But when his father had already started, he bumped into Yi. After that, uncle didn't dare to tell his father about it, so he could only brace himself and introduce Yi to him. After hearing this, Chiyu seemed to have gained a better understanding of Yi family. I didn't expect that there would be such gossip in Yi family. And then? Did uncle abandon Yi? Yi Yan hurriedly asked. After all, judging from the current situation, Yi was definitely an abandoned person. After all, Yi was left behind by Gongyu, and Yi even had a child. Yi Zizi slowly told Yi Yan about what happened back then. The three youngsters were very fascinated by the story. Yi Zizi even added a sad tone into the story, making it seem as if it was a tragic story. Looking at Chuyu, she had already cried. Even Donghuang Li's eyes were red. Yi Yan slightly lowered his head, seemingly wiping the corners of his eyes. This kid has grown up, he likes to cry when he hears touching things. This is simply an eternal love story. All kinds of scenes of torturing people. This is too tragic. Yi is simply too tragic. Dong Huangli finally understood why uncle was so emotional today. So there was actually such a thing in the story. It would be great if they could be together. Chiyu said in a low voice. It is such a pity. Two people who could clearly love each other ended up as strangers, and they didn't even have the chance to bid farewell to each other. Yi Zizi said faintly, some things cannot be forced. Your uncle was also at fault back then. He wasn't a man enough, he was afraid of this and that, causing Yi to suffer. Now that Yi is gone, don't mention it anymore. Dong Huangli and the others sat for a while, digesting this tragedy, then took their leave. The three walked on the street. They seemed to still be immersed in the story. Yi Yan and Chiyu walked side by side, and unknowingly, Yi Yan held on to Chiyu's little hand. Chiyu seemed to be thinking about a problem, and didn't resist. Just like that, the two returned to the palace hand in hand. After returning to the palace, Dong Huangli smiled and said, Io, after hearing a story, your fingers are tightly clasped. Damn it, Chiyu. You're taking advantage of me. Yi Yan reacted and immediately flung Chiyu's hand away. Chiyu's gaze turned cold. Say that again. Tisk. Yi Yan expressed, I can't be bothered to lower myself to your level. Alright, it's already quite late. The two of you should go back and rest. I will go and talk to Mom and Dad. However, I can only hide this matter from Mom and Dad for a short period of time. In the future, the two of you can deal with it as you see fit. After Dong Huangli finished speaking, she waved her hand and left, leaving behind two people who were not pleasing to the eye. Hey, Chiyu suddenly shouted. I don't have a name. Who was Auntie Zizi just now? Chiyu asked curiously. Not telling you. Yan, how can you be like this? You clearly promised me. Chiyu said angrily. She couldn't help but step forward, preparing to pinch him. This pinching action was really a woman's instinctive action. No matter who it was, they all knew how to pinch. F***ck me. If you really pinch me, see if I don't mess with you. Come on, I'll tell your mom. You. Shameless. You're the shameless one. I can't be bothered with you. I'm going back to sleep. After saying that, Yiyan walked into his bedroom. This made Chu Sheng stomp his feet in anger, and he helplessly followed in. The two of them entered the house. At the same time, their gazes landed on the only bed in the house, and they took a look at each other. It's time for me to display my strength. Mom, why did you come? Chu Sheng cried out in surprise. Yi Yan subconsciously turned his head around to take a look, and the door was tightly shut. However, when he turned his head around, Chu Sheng was already lying on the bed, tightly hugging onto the blanket. Chu Sheng, what? You have the nerve to snatch my bed. What's there to be embarrassed about? You go and find a place to sleep. I'm tired. You old woman. Chu Sheng, Yi Yan, you're the old woman. TSK, you're already more than 100 years old. And you're still trying to act young? You old cow, do you still want to gnaw on a young grass like me? You, I shouldn't have come with you. Liar. After saying that, Chu Sheng covered her mouth, and her tone seemed to be choking with sobs. This caused Yi Yan to go into a daze. It can't be, she's crying just like that. She's definitely acting, and she still doesn't know you. It's impossible for me, young Master Yi, to coax you. However, the blanket was still slightly trembling, and sobbing sounds could be heard from time to time. All right, I admit defeat. Yi Yan said helplessly. No matter what, the other party is helping me. I shouldn't bully the other party. You're just like your uncle. I came to your place alone. I'm unfamiliar with this place, and I still have to be bullied by you. Hearing that, Yi Yan felt a headache coming on. Is there anyone who randomly accuses me like this? I was wrong. Don't be angry, all right? I'll tell you then. Aunt Zizi is my dad's subordinate, and my dad has a lot of subordinates. Yi Yan could only give her some benefits to prevent this old woman from getting angry. As expected, after hearing the answer, Chu Sheng became a lot quieter, and didn't seem to be that angry anymore. Aren't you going to take a shower before going to sleep? You're so dirty. Yi Yan couldn't help but say. Chu Sheng finally came out from the blanket. I smell very good. I don't need to take a shower. You don't like cleanliness. You are the one who doesn't like cleanliness. After speaking, Chu Sheng got up from the bed, and didn't forget to warn Yi Yan. Don't snatch my bed, if not you will be finished. I'm a man. Would I snatch something from you? Chu Sheng snorted, then went to take a shower. After a long time, Chu Sheng finished taking a shower, and when she came out of the bathroom, the corner of her mouth twitched. Yi Yan, you are not a man. What answered her was a snore. Bastard. You are infuriating me. Chu Sheng said angrily, then walked to the side of the bed and shook it with all her might. Get up, bastard, you lied to me. It's impossible to wake up a person who is pretending to be asleep. Chu Sheng had no choice but to sit at the table and drink tea to calm down. Perhaps it was because she was too tired, she actually fell asleep on the table. Yi Yan, who was on the bed, secretly took a look at Chu Sheng. This woman actually fell asleep. Forget it, I Yi Yan, am also a man who has tender and protective feelings for the fairer sex. Yi Yan walked down the bed and carried Chu Sheng up. Take note, it's still a princess carry. Then Yi Yan lightly placed Chu Sheng on the bed and covered her with the blanket. Yi Yan took a closer look at Chu Sheng's face, and it is indeed beautiful. If he also looks like this, it's no wonder that my uncle is so infatuated with her, it's understandable. Suddenly, Chu Sheng, who was sleeping soundly, opened her eyes, giving Yi Yan a fright. Youngster, you are still a bit inexperienced. Good night. You old woman. To actually lie to me. Same to you. Be quiet. I am going to sleep. Just you wait. What else could Yi Yan do? After taking a shower, he immediately made a bed on the floor, and when he returns home, he doesn't even have a bed. However, just as Yi Yan was about to sleep, a knock on the door rang out. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Sword of Destiny YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.